Kay Stevenson's Sacramento Gold Miners struggled through their inaugural season in the CFL, feeling all the pain that comes with expansion. But this year, the Miners are emerging as a contender in the Canadian Football League. They like to go deep to their many great receivers. Their goal is to wrest the Grey Cup away from its home in Canada. It presently resides in Edmonton, Alberta, where in '93 the Eskimos emerged as champions, led by CFL legend Ron Lancaster. The Eskimos are burdened now with the challenge of the defense of their title. They are flash and dash, and the excitement comes your way on The Deuce next. Venue is Hornet Field in Sacramento, California. CFL action here on ESPN2 this afternoon. The Edmonton Eskimos and the Sacramento Gold Miners. Hi again, everybody. I'm Mike Goldberg along with James Curry. James Curry, 1 year ago here in Sacramento, Ron Lancaster made the most important decision of his coaching career.
He did. He inserted Damon Allen as his #1 quarterback. He gave him that insurance because in earlier games he had taken Damon out when he struggled a little bit, but he told him at that point it was his game to win and lose, and from that point on, Damon probably became the best quarterback in the CFL.
And the Edmonton Eskimos won their last 8 games of the CFL season, and it resulted in this, the 1993 Grey Cup championship, the Edmonton Eskimos winning their title for the first time since 1987. But James, with that championship now comes the pressures of defending the title.
The challenge week after week. Every opponent you know that is going to face you is up for that game. When you're the champ, everyone wants to knock you off. And Damon Allen and the Edmonton Eskimos have to be able to answer that challenge.
Yeah, you talked about Damon Allen, younger brother of Marcus Allen. He is a heck of a quarterback here in the CFL.
He has been one of the top players year in, year out here in the CFL, and he's won 2 Grey Cup titles since he's been a quarterback in Edmonton. He's been very successful at the helm.
Well, James Curry, the story for Sacramento tonight also is the quarterback situation. David Archer is out, Kerwin Bell is in. For more on that, we go to the sidelines, check in with Mike Mayock.
Thank you, Michael. Joining me now is injured Sacramento quarterback David Archer. And David, with a pinched nerve, prognosis is kind of tough, isn't it? It's hard to tell how long you're going to be out.
Yeah, it's one of those deals that just needs to quiet down. Unfortunately, I got to stand on the sidelines and watch this one. Anybody that's ever played the game knows that you can't do much from the sideline other than pat a few guys on the butt and then tell them to get in there and get it done. But you want to be on the field. I've started a lot of games here, and that's where I want to be, and especially against these guys. These guys roughed us up pretty good last year, and I'd like to have my shots this year.
Well, you've been one of the more durable professional quarterbacks, going 41 games back to 1986. Looking ahead to what happens? Does your offense change at all with a new quarterback at the helm? Is Kerwin Bell change things, or is it the same game plan?
No, it'll be the same game plan. Kerwin's very adept at standing in the pocket and throwing the ball, and our offense is centered around dropping and throwing the ball. We don't move around as much as some of the other teams in the league, and Kerwin's done a good job this week in practice. Although he hasn't gotten to play a lot over the last couple of years, I think he feels good with his practice time, and I think that he's going to have a big night for us. We're going to win the ball game. Any
chance we'll see you and Dunnigan next week in Winnipeg?
Well, I hope Matt gets well soon. I like Matt. Matt's a good guy. I know him pretty well, and hopefully he's watching tonight somewhere. And Matt, get well. The league needs you because he was on his way to really doing some big things in this league.
Hey, David, thank you very much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Michael, back up to you.
All right, thank you very much, Mike Mayock. We'll check back with Mike throughout the evening. BC Calgary leading the Western Conference with records of 5-1. Edmonton, Sacramento, James Curry, a very important matchup tonight as Sacramento just a game behind the Eskimos in the standings.
Very key for Edmonton if they expect to stay in the hunt of thing, to keep contact with British Columbia and Calgary. They desperately need this victory tonight, but also on the other hand, Sacramento has lost their last 2 games on the road. If they want to stay in the chase, they need to win also.
Last year, the Sacramento Gold Miners, the best ever expansion team record, with a record of 6-12. They expect bigger and better things, though, this year in the city of Sacramento, California.
Well, they made a lot of changes offensively and defensively with this team. You improve your team talent-wise, but the one thing that you suffer from is the continuity that you will bring to an organization, and they lost those players, and it's going to take some time for the new players to gel with the old players.
And up next for the Edmonton Eskimos, a couple of tough games. Las Vegas 2 with Calgary, and in the BC Lions, so it does not get any easier for the Edmonton Eskimos, who come in, as you saw, with a record of 4-2. Their head coach, Ron Lancaster, legendary player in the CFL, the all-time CFL passing leader. In 1976, he was the quarterback with Saskatchewan, a year they won the Grey Cup Championship. On the other sideline, the head coach, Kay Stevenson, in his second season, the fourth year with the Sacramento-based football team. He was also the head coach 2 years with the Sacramento Surge, won the title in '92 in the World League with a record of 11-2. So the captains are at midfield right now in the coin toss for this evening's football game. There you see number 2, Gizmo Williams, one of the captains for the Edmonton Eskimos, one of the most exciting players in all of the CFL.
When you think about the Gizmo, he's had more punt returns called back from touchdowns than anybody has ever scored in football history. He's had 19 punt returns called back throughout his career, and yet he was able to keep 21.
And Bobby Humphrey, the co-captains for the Gold Miners. Our officials this evening: referees number 58, George Black. The umpire number 67,
So there you see the teams have tossed it.
The head linesman number 24.
And Kerwin Bell, the starting quarterback, talked to the head coach, Ron Lancaster, earlier. Ron said he has no doubt in Kerwin Bell's ability to be effective tonight in this football game. Kerwin Bell, out of the University of Florida, played with the Gators, one of the most prolific passers in SEC history. Kerwin Bell getting the start tonight for the Sacramento team. Kay Stevenson told us earlier he has a lot of confidence in his second-string quarterback.
Kerwin Bell is a fine quarterback. We're fortunate in having 2 veteran-type quarterbacks like Archer and Bell. He's certainly someone that our people have confidence in, and has an awful lot of savvy. He's a great competitor, so he'll do a heck of a job.
Kay Stevenson, the head coach of the Sacramento Gold Miners, very confident that his football team will play well tonight with Kerwin Bell handling the signals.
Well, Kerwin Bell, he's a quarterback who knows adversity. When he came to the University of Florida as a rookie, well, as a freshman, he was a walk-on, and he had to beat out 8 other quarterbacks that were there on scholarship, and he became the second all-time leading passer in SEC history at the University of Florida, and now he gets a challenge here tonight in Sacramento.
We are ready to start the football game in the blue jerseys. The Sacramento Gold Miners in the road white uniforms, as it is in the CFL. The Edmonton Eskimos. And there's the man we talked about, Gizmo Williams, one of the finest return men in the CFL. He is out to the 25-yard line, brought down about the 30-yard line. The play made by number 44, Hurley Brown, the DB out of the University of Miami. Edmonton offensive line, James.
Well, you look at this Edmonton offensive line, they really have a big challenge, but Leo Groenwegen at right guard really has to step up big tonight.
And in the backfield, Damon Allen, the quarterback, Michael Souls and Lucius Floyd, the running backs. And then the receivers, very confident group.
Eddie Brown, a big play guy for Edmonton. He will go deep often this evening.
And Mike Lee inserted into the lineup because of the injury to Jim Sandusky. More on that in a moment. Handoff in the quick give, gaining about 5 yards on the carry. Was number 33, Hurley Brown, with the tackle of Lucius Floyd. Sacramento looks like this way defensively.
Well, you look at Mark Ledbetter, needs to come up with a big game tonight.
And the linebacking core led by the man in the middle, Maurice Miller.
Corian Freeman has to put pressure on the offense.
And the veteran Bobby Humphrey, number 39, the old New York Jet. 2nd and 5 to the air. Brought down right near the first down marker. The tackle made by Jason Wallace.
Eddie Brown on the reception, just a quick slant route by the quarterback, Damon Allen. The secondary was able to come up very quickly and bring him down with a minimal gain after the reception. And he gets up limping a little bit on the play also, Mike.
Eddie Brown played here in Sacramento with the Sacramento Surge, had 2 touchdown receptions in the World Bowl game. So a first down for Eddie Brown, a gain of 6 on the 2nd and 5. So it'll be 1st and 10, ball on the 41, just underway. Here as you see the injured player on the field, and it is Eddie Brown, the man we're speaking of.
Well, Eddie Brown, when that tackle was made, he was wrapped up low by one of the tacklers and bent over backwards, and he got that ankle caught up underneath, and that's what they're checking out right now, the ankle and the knee area.
Now you speak of injuries to wide receivers. Jim Sandusky, the longtime CFL veteran, out for this evening's football game for the Eskimos. With back problems, he could be out with surgery 6 to 8 weeks, so this would be bad if Eddie Brown goes down too.
Well, you see right there as Jason Wallace comes in low and Maurice Miller comes in high, as Eddie gets that left ankle caught up underneath as Miller is holding, well, Wallace is holding on to it, and you can see with the discomfort that he's going through on the field right there, it could be some time before he's back in the game.
Eddie Brown, the wide receiver out of Iowa State. He was part of that famous CFL 8-for-8 deal in 1993.
Yeah, he was a great acquisition for the Edmonton Eskimos. They felt that when Toronto made the trade, Toronto thought that Eddie might be just a throw-in the trade, but last year he accounted for over 1,500 yards and receptions and 15 touchdowns that he scored. Just a great player in this Edmonton organization.
He had 4 receptions, 114 yards in the Grey Cup, won by Ron Lancaster and the Edmonton Eskimos. And really, it was a surprise that they won the Grey Cup last year. They were really priming themselves to run at the title this year, but they got on the surge because of the quarterback, Damon Allen. Damon led him to the promised land. It is 1st and 10 on the 41. Third play from scrimmage for the Eskimos. They go to the ground again. Lucius Floyd, and he's gang tackled right about the line of scrimmage. Maurice Miller leading the charge.
Well, Sacramento is trying to assert itself early in this game defensively, which is a key. They have been moved. The ball has been moved on them continuously. They tried to come with an off-tackle play. Look, you'll see Miller here, this middle linebacker position, scraping down the line of scrimmage, filling the hole just the way you design it as a defensive coach, making the stop on Floyd for no gain.
So 2nd and 10 from the 41. Maurice Miller. Spectacular performance 1 week ago here on the Deuce. 6 tackles against the Stampeders of Calgary. Also had a 6-tackle performance against the BC Lions. So on 2nd and 10, Allen to the air. He has a man in the flat, goes to Lucius Floyd. He's got 2 guys to try to beat. And a good defensive surge, the start of it, by 44, and then finished by George Bethune. But the initial pressure by Hurley Brown slowed down Lucius Floyd.
Fine pursuit by the defense, but a good start of the game by this Sacramento defense also. They came out, they limited what Edmonton had to do, had to operate offensively, stopped them. Now they force them into a punting situation with Glenn Harper.
Harper out of Washington State University. A couple of decent return guys also for the Edmonton Eskimos and the Sacramento Gold Miners. Confusion, though, in the backfield there, as nothing happening for Trey Everett, who received the punt. Sacramento offensively. Rob Stevenson, a high school teammate of Emmett Smith at Pensacola Escambia High School.
Well, Hammond and Shorts have to come up with big games at the tackle tonight.
Kerwin Bell, the quarterback, that's the story.
And Troy Mills had a big game last week in Calgary. He needs to duplicate that this evening in Sacramento.
And the receiving corps, of course, led by Rod Harris.
Troy Hargan stepped up to the bat last week, Tony Hargan, and he needs to do that again tonight. Number 7 at wide receiver.
Hargan playing in his first game here at home, a local product who played collegiately at Oregon. So right to the air to Hargan, the man we talked about, Kerwin Bell to Tony Hargan for just a small gain on the play. The hit made by Morris Lohler, and the tackle credited to Morris.
Well, Kerwin Bell, you can see right there, had a little rust on him when he threw that ball. He locked in on Hargan right off the back, but you can see the ball, not that tight a spiral. Maurice Lawler read the play perfectly, had a great break on the ball. Kerwin should be very fortunate he didn't have that one picked off.
So a gain of 5, 2nd and 5, ball on the 29-yard line. Big key in this football game. Sacramento must give Kerwin Bell time to run the offense. They go to the ground that time. Charles Miles picks up just a couple. Willie Pless with the tackle. They will be short of the first down.
Well, normally on 2nd and long and medium in the CFL, you throw the football, and Kerwin Bell hasn't had many reps at quarterback, so the thing that you want to do is take some of the pressure off of him by trying to establish a run game, and if they can do that and slow down this Edmonton rush, he'll be more successful.
Teams have tried to punt the ball away from Gizmo this year, thus he has been slightly less effective on punt returns. Let's see if that is the strategy of Pete Gardere, his first kick of the evening. Gardere out of the University of Texas. He goes right at Gizmo Williams. He takes it at the 24-yard line. Gizmo stutter steps, and he's brought down by a couple of blue jerseys at the 34. Tom Gerhardt credited for the tackle. We are scoreless. 10:56 remaining in the first here on the Deuce. The Canadian Football League on ESPN2 is being brought to you by Sony. Nothing unleashes the power of music like Sony. By Arid. Get a little closer with Arid Double X, the anti-odor, anti-perspirant that helps keep you extra, extra dry. And by new Quicksilver Wheel Cleaner from Armor All. Just spray it on and hose it off. That's it. 10:56 remaining in the first quarter. We are scoreless here in Sacramento. Saw the injury earlier. For a report, Mike Mayock. Mike?
Quick injury update on wide receiver Eddie Brown. It was his right ankle. He rolled it over. They retaped it. He's back in the game. One other note, there was a misread there between he and Allen. He said, hey, Damon, don't throw me the ball over the middle like that. It wasn't there. And Allen said, I'm sorry, man. I thought it was zone. Michael?
And so we start at 1st and 10 on the 35. Mike Mayock with us on the sidelines throughout the day here on the Deuce. Allen to go right up top. Quick drop, double pumps, has a receiver. Mike Lee wide open. He is under the 40, the 30-yard line. They're going to have to hurry. At the 10, the 5, touchdown Edmonton. 75-yard touchdown strike to number 8, Mike Lee.
Great play execution by Edmonton. Their offense has been struggling for the most part early this season, but they got a break that time early. Damon Allen with the pump fake. Malcolm Franks bid on it, and Lee took it up the sideline. Allen drilled him, 6 points.
Mike Lee in the lineup because of the injury to Jim Sandusky that we talked about earlier, James Curry.
Well, Mike Lee, you know, when Jim Sandusky, as Coach Ron Lancaster would say, he's one of those name players that you have to account for. There's players in all leagues that if you mention their name, players have to make sure where they are on the field. And this time, Lee steps up. He's a faster player, and it's paid off for Edmonton early in the game.
The convert good by Sean Fleming. Mike Lee came in to the evening, 2 receptions for 30 yards. Tonight, 1 reception, 75 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, that's going to increase his average quite a bit. As long as reception had been 25 yards coming into the game, we'll get a look at it right here. You'll see Damon Allen. He'll drop straight back at a pump fake to the right. Lee takes it up, and he gets in the seam as the defensive back Franks had fell down, and he was off to the races. Tom Gerhardt could not close from his free safety position. He could not close on the angle, and Lee walks into the end zone. Watch Malcolm Frank as he bites on the route, and he slips down, and Lee runs right past him here, and he takes it up the sideline, and he's off to the races. He could be gone all the way.
And the United Cerebral Palsy.
Malcolm Frank, the defensive back from Baylor. Mike Lee likes how it has started off. His first touchdown reception of the year. So now the Sacramento Gold Miners find themselves down quickly in the football game, 7-0. They have lost their last 2 games. Last week here on the Deuce, Calgary beat them 25-11. They were rocked by BC 46-10. Ball received by Miles. He's at the 30 and tackled at about the 31-yard line. The play made by Bruce Dixon.
This is a position that Sacramento has found themselves in all too often, in a trailing position, and this is what puts your quarterbacks in jeopardy when you're always trying to catch up, and the defense can pin back their ears and come after you. And now Kerwin Bell, it's enough pressure just starting your first game here with the Sacramento Gold Miners, but also to be behind 7-0 with 10 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Former University of Florida standout Kerwin Bell, his second series, 2 and out on the first. He goes to about the 40-yard line. Reception up to about the 43-yard line. Larry Ruck brings down the wide receiver, Rod Harris. The big guy, Rod Harris, likes to have that football in his hands. He was virtually kept ineffective last week against Calgary.
Well, they had moved him from wide receiver to inside slot. This time you see him working against Glenn Rogers Jr. there. Just a simple stop route. He catches the ball, turns around, ducks his head, and picks up the first down. He knows where he is on the field. It's very crucial that you can get the first down.
They do. They get up to the 43-yard line. Bell again looking near side, has a receiver, Trey Everett, and he gets the deflection and hauls down the football. Flag on the play. He's tackled at the 20-yard line.
The flag on the play is because Trey Everett, when he made contact with the defender, he bounced out of bounds and he came back in and made the reception. So the official is calling him an illegal receiver on the ineligible receiver on the play. It's a tough rule call because he was forced out by the defender. So when you're forced out, you should have the ability to come back in, and they didn't see it that way.
Illegal participation on the play. Number 5 on the offense went out of bounds and came back in to catch the pass. First down repeated.
Illegal participation.
Well, he had left the field of play, so he was no longer an eligible player at that point. But you'll see right here as Glenn Rogers comes over and he steps out of bounds. You'll see both feet went clearly out of bounds, and he came back in when the ball was deflected and picked it up and thought he had made a great play on it.
Edmonton knows all about those deflection type plays, although this one was called back. Matt Dunnigan threw 713 yards against Edmonton earlier this year. 1st and 20, ball on the 33. Bell dumps it off, incomplete. The intended receiver was Charles Miles.
For James Pruitt. 2nd down.
Well, Kerwin Bell is feeling the pressure early. He has to make things happen. He thought he had made a great play to Trey Everett, and unfortunately it was called back because he had run out of bounds, and now he has himself in a tough situation with a 2nd and 20 right here. He really has to come up with a decent play, not try to pick up the entire 20, but get the ball to a receiver in open field, and hopefully he can have a substantial gain from it.
So a 2nd and 20 now from the 33. Edmonton leads Sacramento 7-0 from the gun. Going far side. Bell has Hargane. He will be short of the 1st down.
Pass complete to Tony Hargan.
Kerwin frustrated how his afternoon has started.
Well, you see right here Edmonton sitting back in the zone defense, and you'll see Hargan here working on that deep out to the right there, and he breaks it off, and Bell puts the ball right on the money, but he came up 5 yards short of the 1st down. That's where that 10 yards penalty killed him.
He was chased out of bounds by Robert Howard, number 17 of Edmonton. Sacramento native, played his college football here at Cal State Sacramento, this same Hornet Field, which we're at tonight. 2nd punt of the night for Gardere. To Gizmo again at the 16. Gizmo has a little room, breaks a couple of tackles. This could be trouble. Gizmo Williams will have to be run down by Gardere. There is no way he will catch him. Gizmo Williams for the touchdown. 94-yard punt return for the touchdown for Gizmo Williams.
And that one there was no flags on, as it's the 3rd return that he's returned for a touchdown this year off of a punt. This one will stay. This one will stand. That is the 22nd punt return for touchdown in Henry Gizmo Williams' CFL career. You'll see right there, normally he flips after scoring a touchdown, but he looks a little winded right there. The heat here in Sacramento and covering up all 94 yards on that return.
Ron Lancaster made the point when we visited with him this morning that football teams were keeping the ball away from Gizmo for good reason. That time Sacramento did not do it, and it cost him. Gizmo with the touchdown. Edmonton leads 14-0. 7:38 remains in the 1st. Gizmo Williams from East Carolina, the all-time CFL punt return leader. As James mentioned, his 22nd career touchdown off a punt return.
Right here, you see Gizmo coming underneath the football, and he'll find a seam right up the middle as he breaks it back to the left, and he's off to the races after he gets past Bethune. And there's no way that Peter Gardere is going to track down the Giz. The Giz has been clocked in the 40-yard dash at 4.2, and a backup quarterback and punter has no chance of tracking him down. You'll see right here as he picks up his vision of the downfield coverage, he gets a couple of great blocks. You see Holland right there with a wonderful block, and Giz is just off, and he's weaving his way through the defenders, and he's high-stepping right here because he knows there's no chance of being tracked down.
And the Giz finds the end zone again. When they have nicknames, you know they're superstars in the CFL. You've got the Giz, and you got pinball Mike Clemens for the Argonauts of Toronto.
Two of the more exciting small players in the entire CFL. They're both about 5'6" in stature, but big at heart.
And Don Wilson having a little fun with his teammate Gizmo Henry Williams. Here is the kick. He's trailing now Sacramento 14-0. Return will start at the 19. Brought down at the 30-yard line. Let's go down to the field, check in with Mike Mayock. Mike?
Thanks, Michael. Remember the movie Gremlins? I guarantee you Henry Williams does. Back when he was a rookie with the USFL Memphis Showboats, his mentor, Reggie White, decided to take all the rookies out to a movie. Well, the movie was Gremlins. The next morning in the locker room, you know what happened. There was a picture of Gizmo hung up on his locker. And from that day henceforth, Henry Williams became Gizmo Williams.
Well, he's been very elusive like those gremlins were in that movie.
Yeah, you got that right. And showed what he is best at right here on the deuce. 14-0. Clock running, 7:20 remaining in the first quarter. The handoff. And a good hit on first down. Football looks to have squirted free. It may belong to the Edmonton Eskimos. Indeed, that is it. Edmonton recovers the fumble.
Troy Mills was the ball carrier on that play, on just a simple lead play up the middle, and he made a Larry Ruck came up and made a tremendous hit on him as he got through the hole, and you can see Coach Kay Stevens right here. Right here, we see there's a gaping hole for Mills as he steps up, but watch Ruck come across, strip him of the football. The ball is loose on the ground. Don Wilson is diving in along with, look like Willie Pless may have come up with the ball right there at the end. Number 39, the linebacker out of Kansas.
Willie Pless, native of Anniston, Alabama. He is the playmaker and makes it on the special teams there. So Edmonton trying to add on to already a 2-touchdown lead. Lucius Floyd brought down about the line of scrimmage.
You look at Sacramento, they've had troubles most of the year. They've dug themselves in a couple of holes, and right here they're in a hole once again with Edmonton with the ball on the 35-yard line after that fumble.
Greg Jolson with the play. Sacramento, when they commit less than 3 turnovers, they are undefeated. 3 or more turnovers, they have yet to win this football season. Makes the game very simple, doesn't it? Control the football.
Makes it very tough. The plus-minus in the turnover ratio, and Sacramento is in the minus.
They are -8 on the season. 14 takes, 22 giveaways. Allen buys himself some time. He can run, fans, but this time he's hauled down. The play made by number 93, George Bethune.
Well, nice pass rush that time by the Sacramento front 4. They corral Damon Allen within the pocket as you design. You force him from the ends. You have the tackles with the push up the middle. And that time when Damon Allen tried to run, George Bethune was at home and able to drop him on the play for a sack.
That will bring on Sean Fleming.
Sean Fleming will attempt a field goal from the 44.
A 44-yard field goal attempt.
This is going to be right at his range. His longest on the season is 45 yards.
And as you see, the man in the end zone, when we zoom out, Rod Harris, if he missed it, will have the chance to return it. But Sean Fleming, perfect on the field goal attempt. Sean Fleming now 3 for 6 on the season from 40-plus yards. The native of Burnaby, British Columbia, has made it 17-0 Edmonton. And Ron Lancaster visited with us this morning, James, and he mentions the complacency of his football team since winning the Grey Cup title. And he said, tonight's a night we've got to break out of the funk.
Well, you got a team that at one point, after the first game of the season, they were on a 9-game winning streak. They had won their last 8 games of last season, and he didn't bring in many players in the training camp to challenge the veteran players that he had on his roster. The only changes that he had made were by necessity due to retirement.
Sacramento decides to take the football at the 35-yard line. They are able to do that. Bell being pressured, and that is the first sack of the night. Tony Woods of the Edmonton Eskimos hauls down Kerwin Bell. 7 sacks last week for Calgary against the offensive line of Sacramento. They took it at the 35, James.
The 35-yard line is the option that you have in the CFL when a team scores against you, either touchdown or field goal, that you can bring the ball out to the 35-yard line and start an offensive possession if you don't feel that your kick return game has been that strong. And the way Sacramento's been struggling with the turnovers, they want to just have possession of the football.
Now they credited a gain of 2, so 2nd and 8 for Bell. He goes to Trey Everett. He's hit immediately. But Trey Everett should get credited for the first down. He's being wrestled with by Morris Lowler, and the fans don't like the extracurricular activity after the whistle had blown.
Well, that is a questionable call and spot by non-call and spot by the officials. His forward momentum had stopped up at the 48-yard line, and he was hit back at the 38 after the official had blown the ball dead. We'll see right here, Bell with just a straight drop back out of the shotgun. He guns this one out to Trey Everett, who makes the reception, and he is driven back by Maurice Lawler. And right here, the play is stopped, but watch the Edmonton player come in and take a shot. Willie Pless right there, make that Martin on Trey Everett.
So Kerwin Bell finally operates the first down. Confusion in the backfield, and Kerwin is brought down. Football is free. And once again, it belongs to the Eskimos of Edmonton. Confusion offensively by Kerwin Bell. In for the injured David Archer. The second turnover of the football game for Sacramento. We'll take a timeout with Edmonton leading 17-0. Number 39, Willie Pless, out of Kansas, Lombardi Butkus Award nominee. He is a guy who has a nose for the football. He knows how to find it.
Well, that's something that was instilled in me when we were playing in the university. The coach always said, Willie, you might not know what you're doing right now, but as long as you get around the ball, you might make some things happen. Because I was switched from playing more of an outside type linebacker to a middle linebacker. So they told me, well, don't worry about it this game. Just get around the ball, do what you do naturally. So that's what I've been doing ever since.
Right there, you'll see Willie Pless with the nose for the football as he dives in on that loose ball, gets another big turnover for the Edmonton Eskimo defense, and their offense is in fine field position once again at the 38-yard line.
Willie Pless came into this week 7 with 33 tackles. That ranks him 3rd in the Canadian Football League. 9 years professionally for Willie Pless. He was a standout in the Big 8 Conference. So they will take the football. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line. Damon Allen, the quarterback, under center. Quick hit outside. Defensive play made. The initial surge by Sacramento was good. Kenny Wilhite finally credited for the tackle. Let's go down to Mike Mayock.
Hey, Michael, you might want to check your defensive depth chart for Sacramento. Coach Casey Stevenson just made 4 or 5 changes, mostly with linebackers and secondary. If you remember, at game time, the temperature was about 83 degrees. I think he wants to keep the players feeling good, and number 2, I think he's a little disgusted.
Well, I don't think the changes on defense were necessitated by fatigue because the offense has been the one with the problem so far.
Eddie Brown on that last reception. Allen with pressure. Avoids it, hit right away. Maurice Miller with the big stick for the Sacramento Gold Miners. The dump off pass from Damon Allen. Michael Souls on the reception.
Michael Souls, the fullback for Edmonton, just circling out of the backfield. Safety valve. One of the things that Damon Allen has not been doing is checking off to his backside of the backfield. They've been running a lot of max protection, keeping Michael Souls and Lucius Floyd in the backfield. That time he slipped out, and it was a limited gain on the reception.
2 turnovers again. The situation, field goal attempt. 42-yard field goal attempt here.
Sean Fleming, the 3rd-year kicker out of the University of Wyoming, and Rod Harris is deep in the end zone.
Sean Fleming with the kick up, and it is good. So Sean Fleming 2 for 2 on the evening. Disappointed in the end zone, Rod Harris, and thus he should be. Edmonton leading Sacramento 20-0. There isn't many good things to say right now about Sacramento's effort, except though defensively after the turnovers, they have forced them into 2 field goals on these last 2 exchanges. Instead of 14 points, they've allowed only 6.
Well, they've only given up the 1 big play defensively. That was a 75-yard touchdown to Lee in the first quarter from quarterback Damon Allen. And once again, Sacramento is going to take the ball at the 35-yard line. Their defense has been able to bow up their backs. We need to keep an eye on Kerwin Bell here in this series because that last series that he fumbled the ball, he had his knee twisted in.
2 turnovers result in 6 points. And the special teams break down with Gizmo Williams scoring another 7 points. So 13 points not going against the defense of Sacramento. Miles up the middle, gets up to about the 41-yard line, give him about a gain of 6 on the carry.
You know, you look at the scoreboard and you're down 20-0 and you're still running the football. Granted, it's early in the game. You still have a little more than 3 quarters of football to play. But at some point, you have to feel a sense of urgency if you're Kerwin Bell and Kay Stevens that you're going to have to go vertical with the football.
Leroy Blue credited for the tackle. Under 2 minutes remaining in the first. They'll give it to Miles again. He's got some room on the left side. First down into the defensive backfield. And finally, Sacramento gets into Edmonton territory. Glenn Rogers Jr. with the stop.
Glenn Rogers coming in from his right halfback. Right here, watch, you'll see Mills as he starts inside. He breaks it back to the outside. He gets off tackle and he cuts it up inside. And Glenn Rogers comes in and grabs him around the ankle and makes a saving tackle at midfield at the 55-yard line.
Charles Miles with the nice gainer. Gain of 14 on the play. 1st and 10 from the 55. Kerwin Bell goes to the flat for Tony Hargame. Hargame brought down immediately by number 17, Robert Holland.
That's a very long pass for a quarterback. When you see Kerwin Bell, he's standing on the left hash mark, and he throws it out to the right side of the field. That's about a 30-yard pass to pick up 2 yards on a play.
If you joined us late, Kerwin Bell, the starting quarterback. David Archer, a pinched nerve in his neck. He has been sacked 28 times this football season. I think he's a little bruised up. Kerwin Bell does have a little bit more mobility in the pocket. This time he throws it right into the arms of the Edmonton Eskimo defender, Ed Berry, with the interception, the 3rd turnover of the evening for the Gold Miners of Sacramento.
Well, David Archer made a foolish mistake there. He threw that ball into double coverage. Holland and Ed Berry were over there on his receiver. You'll see David Archer right there, knowing the frustration that Kerwin Bell is experiencing at the moment. And we'll get a look right here. You'll see Kerwin Bell, he's been operating out of the shotgun to get a little more time in the pocket, but he throws right into double coverage over there, and Ed Berry just picks that off. He's one of those players that came over with Eddie Brown in that trade from Toronto also.
Frustrating so far for Kerwin Bell. Allen fakes the handoff, goes to the sideline for Gizmo Williams. He stayed in bounds. Will be close to a first down, a gain of 10 or 11 most likely. We're down to 15 seconds remaining in the first quarter here in Sacramento, California. There you see number 9, Damon Allen. Not only one of the finest passers in the CFL last year, but one of the best rushers for a quarterback, or take that back, for any runner in the CFL.
Well, he finished second in the entire CFL in rushing last year. He amassed 920 yards on the ground, and he was also the 2nd-ranked passer in the league.
Last play of the quarter to Lucius Floyd in the flat. Floyd gets a couple of blocks, should get another first down. Maurice Miller finally with the tackle. This first 15 minutes of football has belonged to the Edmonton Eskimos. The Grey Cup champions of 1 season ago lead 20-0 after 1.
Flutie, you gotta hate him.
We had Calgary beat down in Sacramento.
The first thing I think about is Houdini.
And he pulled one out of his hat.
He really brings the game to another level.
Now they came back and beat us.
Drop back about 40 yards, scramble around and then throw it and get away with it.
He's very intelligent and he's a born leader, and you hate playing against him.
Sacramento, California. Things have not been good thus far for the Gold Miners. They trail 20-0. Next Friday on ESPN, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, Calgary at Toronto. Doug Flutie at Sky Dome. It's the CFL action continuing on ESPN2. 1st and 10 on the 27-yard line for the Eskimos. And Damon Allen. Play action again. Allen with some room. No, he'll dump off. And thankfully to Lucius Floyd, who is upended on the play. The hit made by Corian Freeman.
Floyd brought down by Corian Freeman.
Well, Damon Allen with the play fake right there. His running ability is what slows down the pass rush of a defensive line. Lucius Floyd was in initially blocking, and he slipped out in the flat. Damon found him as a 2nd or 3rd receiver option, hit him with the short pass on the play, picked up 7.
Lucius Floyd showing his versatility early, and that's something that Ron Lancaster said. We've got to get our running backs more involved offensively. So a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. They'll go to Floyd right up the middle. He breaks a couple of tackles. He's getting inside the 5-yard line on the carry. Impressive performance thus far by Lucius Floyd.
Nice play mix calling by quarterback Damon Allen. We'll see right here a simple inside trap play. Quick hitter by Lucius Floyd right here as he gets it. He finds a seam. Rod Conop with a nice block there at the nose guard position. Look at the move of Lucius Floyd breaking it back, weaving through traffic, being brought down at the 5-yard line.
Lucius Floyd played collegiately right down the road. Nevada Reno. 1st and goal from the 5. Floyd. Check that. That is Souls, and he gets down to about the 1-yard line. Michael Souls, the running back from McGill University, on the carry. And the stop made by Maurice Miller, the big linebacker of Sacramento.
Michael Souls became a starter halfway through last season at the fullback position, and this year his first full year starting as a fullback in the CFL for the Edmonton Eskimos, and he is taking advantage of his newfound role.
2nd and goal on the 1. Already 20-0 Edmonton. Watch Watch Allen potentially keep it himself. Damon Allen for the major.
Quarterback keeper.
Got to line up 1 yard off the ball, and Damon Allen uses his big offensive line to give Edmonton now a 26-0 lead, awaiting the converts.
It's a very tough situation for a defense in the CFL when you're down on the 1 yard line. You'll see Damon as he slides off the right side of his offensive line there, finds just a little seam behind fullback Michael Souls and dives into the end zone for the 26th point of the evening for Edmonton.
The 4th touchdown of the year for Damon Allen, the #1 rusher on this football team, coming in with over 400 yards on the ground. The convert from Fleming is good, and Edmonton leads now 27-0. And Damon Allen hasn't done virtually any damage where he does most of his damage, and that's running the football.
Well, you look at Damon Allen, he's thrown for 97 yards here early in the game, but if you look at the scoreboard, 27-0, but the defense has had the effort tonight. They've come up with the big plays, the punt return from Henry Williams, and Edmonton is in total control of this football game.
Mike Mayock on the sidelines. Michael?
Hey, Michael, there's only one other end zone in the whole world quite like this one, and ironically, it happens to be in Edmonton. Now, in the Canadian Football League, what happens is you're supposed to have 20 yards deep by 65 yards wide, but because of the running track that surrounds this stadium, what happens is you get a 45-degree angle 11 yards deep in the end zone. Therefore, the offensive team has a lot less square footage to work with. Should be advantage defense. However, tonight, that's not happening for Sacramento.
Well, instead of running a post corner route, you run a post slant route now.
Into one of the many corners of the end zone. 27-0 Edmonton. Good kick deep. Miles takes it on his 3-yard line. Miles now cutting near side. Has a little room. Finally the surge, and he's brought down at the 25-yard line. The play made on the special teams by Errol Martin.
Miles brought down
that
by
last scoring drive, 5 plays, 38 yards, took just 2 minutes and 37 seconds, capped off by the 1-yard touchdown run, the 4th TD of the year for Damon Allen.
You have to feel in. You can't feel envy for Kerwin Bell in this situation. He is down 27-0 with a little over a quarter of football played already in this game in his first CFL start. He has to find a way to make something big happen and big in a hurry.
First thing he does is go to the ground to Miles. Alvin Hunter on the stop. Look at the defenses of both these football teams. They rank pretty high in the CFL, partner.
Well, the points allowed right now is a telltale story with Edmonton on the scoreboard 27-0. Sacramento was vastly improved defensively. But the key is the turnovers. They came into this game with a -8. They're up to a -11 at this point, and that is what has killed them all year long, is the turnovers.
Defensively, you want to be ranked low, though, just like a golf score, if you will. 2nd and 6, Bell. Flag on the play. Pass knocked down in front at the line of scrimmage by the linebacker, Larry Ruck. Infraction is going to go against the offense. I think we've got a holding call, JC.
And most likely Edmonton will decline it because it will make it a 3rd and 7 situation, but the pressure is starting to mount on a quarterback, Kerwin Bell.
The offense number 52, penalties decline, 3rd down.
That is David Diaz-Infante with the holding for the Gold Miners. Things very difficult thus far tonight for Kerwin Bell. He wanted to play the football game. David Archer felt confident that Kerwin Bell could be effective, but when you're down 27-0, defense is going to pin their ears back and come at you. Pete Gardere, 2 punts so far, close to a 50-yard average. He's gotten the foot on it this evening. Keep it away from Gizmo. That would be a wise move. They do. Football squirts free, and it may belong to Sacramento. Flags on the play. The football being pointed in the direction of the Gold Miners of Sacramento, but we'll see if there's a no-yards violation, and there is. So again, Sacramento cannot get a break, but we can. We'll take a timeout here on the Deuce. 11-11 remaining in the half. Damon Allen broke all of Marcus's high school records. He was the outstanding player in the 87 and 93 Grey Cup, but still, constantly, he has to answer his critics.
I feel I've been successful. I mean, like I said earlier, I go out there and play the game of football. A lot of the critics are They probably don't know the game that well, but everyone has their own opinion about a player and what type of player he is and who's the best at that. But I feel I've been very successful. I feel I can play 5 more years. So if I can continue to play at this level the next 2 to 3 years, then I'm successful already.
No question he is successful already. A smart runner, his head coach Ron Lancaster said, but we've been bouncing it back and forth. Is he a better runner than big brother Marcus Allen?
Well, when you look at his overall statistics running the football as well as passing the ball, they run it in different situations. Marcus runs by design more so than what Damon does, where he runs just to make the defense more aware of what his offensive capabilities are as a whole.
We asked Ron Lancaster, he said 40% of the time Damon Allen runs by design. 60% of the time he does it because he has to. Lucius Floyd gang tackled George Bethune, and it looked like Maurice Miller might have been in on the initial surge as he was hit at the line of scrimmage.
Well, we got to get a good push from the middle of this Sacramento defensive line. You'll see George Bethune as he comes across and makes the contact initially with Lucius Floyd and gets some help right there from Willie Fears, the other defensive tackle. Nice play up front by the defensive unit.
Mr. Fears, as it is.
The sheriff.
That's right.
Prison guard back in Arkansas.
2nd and 9, so just a gain of 1 for Floyd. Shotgun situation, rolling left. Allen, complete. Eddie Brown. And he gets the first down yardage, forced out by Jason Wallace.
Jason Wallace on the tackle.
Well, Eddie Brown went down on that initial reception of the game where he twisted the ankle, and as Mike Mayock noted, he got it retaped, and that time you see him as Damon on the half roll left, Eddie Brown breaking it to the sideline, wide open in that soft spot in the zone, and he picks up the first down right in front of the secondary of Sacramento.
We think he may have. They're going to mark right here. It looks like they marked the ball, so a bad spot for Edmonton. Going to be just short of the first down, James Curry, by about a half a yard there. Got that 1 yard off of scrimmage for the defensive line. So 3rd and 1 on the 32. You're up 27-0. I don't see anybody coming out to kick the football.
Well, if I was a gambling man, I would say that the quarterback might sneak it right here.
Well, we're not that far from Reno, Nevada, are we?
So with the defense giving the quarterback the yard on the ball, look for quarterback Damon Allen to just take it, tuck it himself, and sneak it over the side of his big offensive line. Probably go to the left here.
Oh, and he has a little bit of extra room until he is hit by Leonard Nelson. Were you in the huddle or something there?
Well, you could see when they came up to the line of scrimmage, Michael Soul, the fullback, is in the wing. You'll see right there, right. And normally where the fullback is, that will indicate where the play is going to go in the CFL. He is the nose because that's your overload. He basically becomes the tight end in American football, so that's the strong side of the offense.
Edmonton dominant in our football game. 9:30 remaining in the half. 1st and 10, ball on the Sacramento 29. Allen, quick hit. Double pump now. He's got a little room. He'll work it to the air. Complete to Eddie Brown. He is hit at about the 16-yard line. The defensive play made by 24, the Gold Miners, Jason Wallace.
What Damon Allen does is that he puts a tremendous amount of pressure on the extremities of a defense. That time looked like he was going to go with the quick hitter out in the right flat. He was able to bring it down, but his mobility brought him back to the right, to the left side, and he threw the ball sidearm to Eddie Brown, who had set down in that soft spot in front of the secondary, in front of Jason Wallace, and picked up the first down.
Damon Allen doing it through the air tonight. He'll work it again. Pressure on, goes for it all. And it falls incomplete. The intended receiver, Eddie Brown.
Nice recovery on the play by Malcolm Frank. Damon Allen was not able to get the ball to Brown. Curtis Moore stayed at home at his left defensive end, did not allow Damon Allen to break contain, and he was forced to throw it, and Eddie Brown just couldn't run under it.
The first incompletion of the night for Damon Allen. 9 for 10 on the evening. Came in with a very low passing efficiency. The passing rating, one of the lowest in the CFL, but he has been very good at dumping it off, taking the easy passes tonight. Here he goes now on 2nd and 10. Flags on the play, just throws it out. There's some broken coverage there. Michael Souls looks like he'll be called for the hold.
Well, Michael Souls hooked the defensive end as he came around Curtis Moore, grabbed him up high, pulled him over, and the back judge saw what occurred and threw the flag properly on the play.
Holding on the offense, number 32. Penalties decline. Third down.
Well, you make one great play, and then you make one play that you don't want to be noted for, and everyone in the stadium knows that you make it.
So here we have number 3, Sean Fleming, 2 for 2 on the night, both field goals from over 40 yards. 44 and 42 to be exact.
Well, he came into the game with a 75% ratio on his kicks.
This one from 22 yards.
Kick is good.
And that kick is good. It is now 30-0 Edmonton. Fleming with 3 field goals on the evening. 8:09 remaining in the half here on The Deuce. 30-0 our score. You know, JC, Willie Pless and Gizmo Williams do a lot of public speaking. Gizmo Williams' mom died when he was 5. His father died a year later. He was raised by his brother Edgar. Edgar also raised 7 others, and it was always education first, no excuses. One time, Edgar forced the 3 family members to go to school on a snowy day. They were the only 3 people at school that afternoon.
Well, you speak about education, and you can see Gizmo right there along with Eddie Brown and Damon Allen as they're having a class session there with the chalkboard, and they're describing what they can do against the defense right here. They're diagramming the plays. Damon is reading the secondary for the receivers.
And Gizmo Williams grew up on the wrong side of the tracks in Memphis, as he describes it. He has been a self-proclaimed hero in Edmonton, and so far we have seen him do what he does best. Bell has to go to the air, down by 30. He's in trouble, dumps it off to Miles. Miles over the midway point. He is down to the 48, hit hard at the 47-yard line. The play made by Robert Holland. So Bell there staying poised in the pocket and hitting Miles for the big gainer.
Well, Curran was starting to feel the heat. You see right here with the play fake to Miles as he steps over to his left. Right here, you'll see the pressure from Hunter comes up, grabs him, and he has a presence to get the ball to his back, who had circled out over the middle. But a great open field tackle by Holland right here to drop him at the 48.
A gain of 28 yards on the play. 1st and 10 from the 48. They go to the ground, and a gang tackle made there by the Edmonton defense.
This has thus far been Sacramento's best ball possession of the game. Very important that they can keep moving. They need to pick up another 1 or 2 first downs so they can get in good scoring position and possibly get into the end zone for a touchdown.
Tough night so far for the head man, Case Stevenson. His 2nd year with the Gold Miners of Sacramento. As we mentioned earlier, coached the Surge in Sacramento too. Quick hit to Jones. Tony Jones saw him get a big gainer for a touchdown last week. He is hit big time by Malvin Hunter. Malvin Hunter, when we talked to Coach Lancaster this morning, described as an aggressive, big-time player so far this year.
Well, now the pressure is really on Sacramento to make a decision here. Do you go for the field goal trailing 30-0, or do you try to pick up the first down? And Coach K. Steven is going to elect to go for the first down on this play because a field goal really is not going to be that good of an advantage for him.
It is 3rd and 4, ball on the 42-yard line. They have got to pick this up and get something going offensively. Bell, the quick hitter. It is incomplete. Defensive play made by Glenn Rogers Jr. That would be a turnover. On downs, Rogers defensively, Bell struggling offensively. We've got a timeout here on The Deuce.
We have guys in this league like Gizmo Williams that can return punts better than anyone I've ever seen in my life.
You cannot give him a crack or else he will take it to the zone on you quickly.
He gave me one little move, and boom, I went for it, and he was gone.
Pinball. Somebody gave him the right name.
And you wonder how a guy so small can create so much excitement.
Pinball. When you play a pinball machine, you see the ball going all around. That's what it's just like.
That was a jet going down that sideline, wasn't it?
All Eskimos here in Sacramento, they lead 30-0 with 6:02 remaining in the half. Preseason NFL football, American style. The Buffalo Bills, the Houston Oilers. Oilers 32 points off of their opponents' mistakes in the preseason. The Bills, 3 of the last 7 Pro Bowl MVPs. Smith, Kelly, and Tasker tomorrow night live, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Not a whole heck of a lot to dance about for the Gold Miners dancers here in Sacramento. Turned out to be a great night for football. Been a little warm the last couple of days. Temperatures in the mid-90s in Sacramento, California. This is the second year of CFL football. The Surge, of course, won a World League title earlier before Sacramento became a member of the Canadian Football League.
Well, I saw you heading into the store, but they had run out of sunblock, so you could not go out and hang out at the pool that you had previously planned and had to go to the gym and pump a little iron today.
And I was studying Gizmo Williams' statistics, which takes about a full day itself. Lucius Floyd up the middle. George Bethune on the tackle. Ledbetter in there also. Mark Ledbetter doing a nice job.
Well, see, this is a great situation when you look at a game like this with Edmonton being up 30-0 to work on some of the things offensively that they've had problems with, such as the running game. Lucius Floyd has carried the ball tonight equal to what he's been carrying it and averaging already in the season. He came in only averaging 6 carries a game.
So a gain of 4 on that carry. They better hurry up. 20-second play clock. They get it off. Officials say yes. Allen for the first down to Eddie Brown. Going to be close. Going to depend on the spot there. I think he got the first down, though. On the far side, Damon Allen to Eddie Brown, his favorite target. Malcolm Frank with the stop.
Well, Eddie had been the primary receiver, and he's that favorite target once again tonight. Just a quick out. Damon Allen displays that he has a very strong arm. He gets the ball to Eddie Brown in a hurry before Malcolm Frank can come up and hit him low and get some assistance there from Parrish as he came across from his halfback position.
And indeed, they do call it a first down. Ball spotted at the 52-yard line of the Eskimos. Quick hit again to Eddie Brown. Little trickery. Eddie going deep. But this is a wounded duck, and that was just a defensive play made by number 87 of the Eskimos of Edmonton, Tom Gerhardt, defensively for the Gold Miners.
A lateral pass. Damon Allen throws out in the flat to Eddie Brown. As you'll see, as he throws behind him, Eddie Brown takes the ball and he drops back and he's looking for Jay Christensen, who is running a post right down the middle of the field. But Eddie didn't get enough on that football, and Tom Gerhardt played center field like you designed it. He didn't let Jay get behind him and was able to break up the play.
Jay Christensen from Vancouver, British Columbia.
Okanagan Juniors.
I was going to let you say that. Damon again on 2nd and 10. Complete. Near the first down again. The stop made by the veteran, Bobby Humphrey. Check it out thus far. Edmonton possession, 7 of them. Touchdown, touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal after the punt on the first possession. So the last 6 have accounted for Edmonton points, 30 in all thus far in our contest, as we are quickly approaching, or I guess the Sacramento fans would say not quickly enough approaching, our almost 3-minute warning. First down indeed credited. 1st and 10, ball on the 47. Allen with the handoff to Lucius Floyd again. He spins away from George Bethune, picks up a couple of extra yards to about the 40. He's hit there by Corian Freeman.
And Early Brown comes in with the wrap-up. Coach Ron Lancaster has to be very pleased with the production of his offense thus far here in the first half. Those 6 successive possessions, being able to get point production out of them. You couldn't design it better than that, because the team, as he had noted, had been struggling, been somewhat complacent, but they're playing the way that he wants them to tonight.
So the spin accounts in a gain of 6, 2nd and 4 on the 41. Allen again to Floyd. Floyd off the right tackle, and he gets the first down. Maurice Miller with the hit. Lucius Floyd has been impressive thus far. He's from Inglewood, California, Nevada, Reno, and he likes playing here down the road from where he played collegiately. We are just past the 3-minute warning, our almost 3-minute warning here on ESPN2. The injured David Archer saw a string of 41 consecutive professional football starts here in the city of Sacramento come to an end. Archer was the quarterback of the Sacramento Surge, and now the quarterback of the Gold Miners. Kerwin Bell in tonight because David Archer suffering from a pinched nerve in his neck and a dislocated finger, and Kerwin Bell has been dislocated from the offense all night long. Archer, the standout at Iowa State against Calgary, threw for almost 400 yards, but still came away without the victory and only 11 points on the scoreboard. 30-0 our score. We are under 3 minutes, so the clock will stop now. And they reset the football each time. Quick hit. Fake Damon Allen. Now he goes to the big man, Christensen. Christensen will be brought down inside the 5-yard line by Junior Robinson. So Damon Allen with that quick fake again to Lucius Floyd. Little play action and a gain of 31 to Christensen.
Looked like he was going to run a counter trade, but Damon is so deceptive with the football that he was able to hide it on his hip on the roll left. Jay Christensen got in the seam. We get a look at it right here as he fakes the ball to Floyd, pulls it out, steps up inside of the rush as he rolls out to the left. Just a tremendous fake and execution by Damon Allen.
So 1st and goal on the 4. Floyd. This time he does get the football, and he is stopped by Ledbetter at the 4-yard line. A gain of 1 at best.
Great run support by Jason Wallace coming up from his halfback position to trip up Lucius Floyd as he tried to skate off tackle to the left side, but good run support by the secondary.
So a 2nd and goal situation. Defensive play, Jason Wallace, the defensive back out of Virginia.
Now, it would be an emotional victory here for Sacramento if they held them to only a field goal, because that's a lot better than the 7, and hopefully it won't put too much separation, even though it's a huge uphill task the rest of the way.
They need something to lift their spirits here in the 1st half. 2nd and goal. Allen looks right, has Eddie Brown, and he throws it away. It hit the goalpost. Well, you know the difference between the NFL and the CFL. The goalpost is on the goal line in the Canadian Football League, and he clanked it.
Well, that time Damon had all the time in the world as he sit back in the pocket, and you'll see him here not getting any pressure.
I'd say he clanked it, big man.
I say he drilled that one. He couldn't have been more accurate if he was trying, but this is a very difficult angle here on the field goal, also for Sean Fleming, with the ball being placed at the 11-yard line.
11-yard field goal attempt, and Fleming is good.
Kick is good.
Sean Fleming with 4 field goals in the contest. He has not missed this season inside the 30-yard line. 8 for 8 on the year inside the 30. 2 of those coming tonight. He came in with 65 points on the year. The Wyoming place kicker Sean Fleming. And I'll tell you what, Edmonton and Damon Allen have done everything they have wanted to do so far here in the 1st half of football.
Well, when you're the champions, everyone is gunning from you, and they knew that they had to come out at some point this year and establish themselves to make themselves a force once again. And Edmonton has been doing all the right things thus far tonight.
And again, Sacramento takes the football at the 35-yard line. They've got a good return man in Rod Harris, but they have not let him have the opportunity tonight. That ball almost picked off. Morris Lowler had it bounce off his chest in a way. Morris Lowler almost picking off the Kerwin Bell pass.
Well, you'll see Kerwin Bell just throws the ball behind Hargan as he goes down and he slips, and Lawler comes underneath and the ball bounces right off of his chest. A nice break on the ball, but Lawler, maybe that's why he's playing defensive back. He doesn't have great hands. Interesting story. He came to Edmonton late last year, played in the West Final and then the Grey Cup game, and played well, earned himself a starting position this year. 2nd and 10 with the incompletion. Bell, and that is incomplete. No flag? No flag on the play. Little contact between Lowler and the receiver, Trey Everett, but Kerwin Bell, reason to be frustrated as he gets hit in the same way we saw David Archer get hit on frequent occasion last week. Well, you see Larry Ruck, the linebacker, coming on the blitz from the top, and he gets to Kerwin Bell just as he releases the ball, and he goes down. And that's what David Archer has been feeling all year long, the consistent pressure of the defensive fronts that Sacramento have been facing. The offensive line has just not been able to protect their quarterbacks this season.
They have given up more sacks than any other football team in the CFL. So a hunting situation for the Gold Miners of Sacramento, and still plenty of time for Gizmo to try to strike. They give him the 5 yards, and now he'll try to use it effectively. Little stutter step, and now he's brought down. Good defensive play by number 45, Tom Gerhardt. Gerhardt on the special teams there with the tackle, as Gizmo was looking for a little bit of room but could not find it, with Gerhardt defensively on the stop. Well, Edmonton has done a lot of things here, but Sacramento defensively has to be a little weary here in the 1st half. They've been on the field an exceptional amount of time. They need to come up. Somebody needs to step up and make a big play, because they just haven't had it from their defensive unit tonight. Tommy Gerhardt, the CFL rookie out of Ohio University. 33-0 Edmonton. 1:26 remaining. Again, the clock stops in the last 3 minutes on CFL rules. Allen's pass knocked down in front. Almost picked off on the way down. Curtis Moore tried to haul the football in.
Well, excellent effort by Curtis Moore. That's what you teach your defensive linemen. If you can't get to the passer, put your hands up. You'll see Curtis Moore working against Blake Dermott there at tackle. Make that Chris Morris, and he bats the ball down and almost intercepts it with a great effort.
George Bethune got the big paws on the football. And Moore tried to haul it in. Nonetheless, it goes as an incomplete pass. Not many tonight for Damon Allen. 2nd and 10 from the 36. Allen will go right up the middle with it, and he's shut down. Loses the football for a second. It is still loose. I believe it belongs to the Gold Miners. Sacramento football. Recovering the football, George Bethune. Finally, a break for the Miners.
A much-needed break for the Miners. Damon Allen with a quarterback draw by design. That was a called play on his behalf, but great recovery by that Sacramento defensive front. You see him as Damon pulls down the ball. Willie Fears reaches in, and Damon is stripped from the ball with the ball by Curtis Moore, and George Bethune hustling makes the recovery, and Sacramento has the ball at the 38-yard line. Lucius Floyd didn't want to take on that big defensive lineman, and just a poor effort by the running back of Edmonton.
George Bethune, 6'4", 260. Bell towards the end zone. Rod Harris. Great coverage on the play by Holland.
Intended for James Pruitt.
James Pruitt checked that the intended receiver. Holland on the coverage.
Well, Kerwin Bell trying to go deep. He has to be a little more patient in a situation like this. He finally gets good field position. Take the 6 to 7 yard pass that the defense will allow you. Now he's in a 2nd and 10. If he had bothered to go for the short pass, he'd probably be in a 2nd and short or a 2nd and medium.
Kerwin Bell is still looking for that completion. I think that's going to give him a little confidence he can move this football team. He has made maybe 1 or 2 good plays in one drive tops so far tonight. 2nd and 10 from the 38. Here comes the pressure. He dumps it off. That is Rod Harris, and he is hit by Holland defensively, short of the first down. Robert Holland with 2 fine defensive plays there, James Curry.
Great open field play by the Edmonton defense. But you get Harris here on a crossing route coming underneath the coverage, but when you got to pick up 10 and you're throwing a 4-yard pass, it's really not going to do that much for your offense, where on 1st down you go deep, on 2nd down you go short, and you end up with a 3rd down and 5.
Robert Holland happy to be playing on his collegiate field. As I mentioned earlier, Cal State Sacramento. He is a Sacramento native, playing for the Eskimos, playing well on this series. 3rd and 5 they go for. Bell to the flat. Pruitt defended there by who? Number 17, Robert Holland. James Pruitt on the reception. Holland knows this turf very well, although field's a little bit wider, a little bit longer than when he played here collegiately.
Well, he probably ran laps on those wider parts of the field. But you see Kerwin Bell throwing a short pass here. He needs to pick up 5, and he throws a 3-yard out, and the tackle is made right away by Holland. If he had looked backside, Tony Jones had gotten behind the secondary, and he had ran down the right side of the field unmolested. The defense lost track of him.
He played down the road in the NFL just sparingly in 92 and 93 with the Sacramento 49ers. Damon Allen now to work. 30 seconds on the clock. Pressure on Allen. He eludes 2 tacklers. Now a good block, and he has got some room to do some damage if he wants. Allen will run the football. Damon Allen up above the 50-yard line, hit there by Maurice Miller.
Brought down by Maurice
He had Marcus kind of room there, didn't he? A gain of 21 yards for Damon Allen.
He puts such pressure on the planes of a defense. When you look at it vertically, he stretches them so much as he comes to the left and he reverses his field and he goes back to the right. He is still looking for a receiver.
Greg Jolson was surged out of the way by Damon Allen early. Goes to the big man, Christensen. Complete and another 1st down. Malcolm Frank on the stop.
Malcolm Frank on the stop.
Jay Christensen presents a very big target for quarterback Damon Allen. 6'3.5" wide receiver. That time he found him open in the flat. The coverage had sloughed off, picked up a comfortable 1st down.
And there's a 9th year in the CFL, 3rd year with the Eskimos.
Allen's pass incomplete, intended for Christensen.
Damon Allen looked like he was looking for his good buddy number 17, Holland, on the sideline. Problem is he's ineligible as a defensive player without his helmet on, my friend.
Well, he was also off the field to play, so he could have been an eligible receiver, could have been a la Deion Sanders wanting to play both ways, but right now we'll get Sean Fleming lining it up for a 52-yard field goal attempt right here. His longest on the year is only 45, so he's stretching the outskirts of his limits right here. This may be the last play of the first half.
He has missed on 3 occasions this season from 48 yards. The wind is behind him, looks to be long enough, and it is wide, but it goes out of the end zone for the single. There is La Rouge.
We got the single. We're going to go up to 34, and that is the last play of the half.
And it has belonged to the Eskimos of Edmonton. 34-0. Sacramento must regroup in the locker room.
They have to find something in a hurry. Maybe they need to go out and get a catch trying to stop this leak, because Edmonton has just been dominating this entire first half.
And their head coach, Ron Lancaster, very pleased. We will spotlight Ron Lancaster at halftime of our CFL contest, 34-0 at the break.
Everything that you could possibly want to know about the CFL is right here in the CFL's 1994 Facts, Figures, and Records from Triumph Books. It has the teams, the players, the rules, and the records of the Canadian Football League, past and present. It's everything you want to know right at your fingertips. For your copy of the CFL's 1994 Facts, Figures, and Records, call 1-800-626-4330.
It has dual airbags, an energy-absorbing steering column, and front and rear crumple zones. But unlike other luxury sedans, this one starts under $14,000. Because you shouldn't have to spend your life savings on a car that could very possibly save your life. The Nissan Altima. It's time to expect more from a car.
Our halftime score is 34-0. Edmonton leading Sacramento. Edmonton's leader is Ron Lancaster, CFL Hall of Famer, Canadian Sports Hall of Famer, quarterback of Ottawa in '60 when they won the Grey Cup. Mike Mayock has more.
Ron Lancaster took the field in the olden days of Canadian League football. Records didn't fall, they were shattered. His 19-year career yielded records that still stand 16 years later for all-time completions, yardage, and touchdown passes. Like any true warrior, his competitive fires still burn.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed playing every game, week after week, season after season. It was fun. And if you play that long and don't set records, then you weren't a very good football player. So I never ever looked at that. The biggest thrill of my life was being able to play football week in, week out, and have fun and do things that I really like to do. I found it a challenge and interesting, and it was exciting.
It was an exciting time for fans as well, as 15 of his 19 teams made the playoffs. Respected for his great football mind, Lancaster moved directly to the sidelines as Saskatchewan's head coach on the day he retired. He learned a lot from the experience.
It wasn't one of my better decisions that I've made in my life. Going from a player to a head coach on the very next day, trying to coach people that you had played with for so many years and trying to rebuild a football team. After having people advise me to walk away from it, go away, be an assistant, and come back and try it later, you know, quarterbacks are stubborn, and I'm probably right at the top of that list with anybody as far as being stubborn, and I thought I could do something that I couldn't really do.
After 10 years in the broadcast booth, Lancaster returned to the sidelines with a new attitude.
Football's been my life for 30-some years, and I enjoyed, I had great coaches, I think, when I was young, in high school and college, and I think they made the game fun, and then I enjoyed all the competitiveness of the game. I've been in it so long. I enjoy being in this game. It's got its ups and downs, but don't take it too serious. You know, it's not brain surgery. This is a football game, and somebody's going to win, someone's going to lose, and as a coach, you want to win more than you lose, just as you did as a player. And what's next? I don't know. Just let's take it a week at a time. That's the only way I know to do it.
And now for Ron Lancaster, defending Grey Cup champion, life is truly a walk in the park.
And look at the numbers in the career for Ron Lancaster. He is still the all-time leading passer in CFL history. Number 2 among professionals behind another CFL and NFL standout, Warren Moon. Ron Lancaster's team has dominated this football game thus far on the Deuce. They lead 34-0 at the break. We're back with more of our halftime activities after this. Eskimos dominant in the first half of football. They lead Sacramento 34-0 at the break. CFL action continues all season long here on the Deuce. Next Friday, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Doug Flutie and the West leading Stampeders of Calgary visit Skydome in Toronto to take on the Argonauts. We are at the break with the Edmonton Eskimos in command here at Hornet Field in Sacramento. Back with more of our halftime after this. Time activities, Edmonton leading Sacramento 34-0. Mike Goldberg, James Curry, and Big Daddy James Curry. If Edmonton was looking to reassert themselves as the Grey Cup champions, they've done it in the first half.
Well, they came out in fine fashion in this game. They opened it up with the big play right off the bat. Quarterback Damon Allen finding his wide receiver lead down the right flat. You'll see Damon with the pump fake as the defensive back falls down on the play, and he goes up the seam, and Damon hits him with a strike, and he just outruns the safety at this point.
And he is in the lineup because of the injury to Jim Sandusky. So Allen using all the weapons tonight in the football game. And this is one of the biggest weapons in all of the CFL.
Henry the Gizmo Williams. You see him right here as he hits the seam. He goes straight up the middle. He makes a move to the left, and he outruns Peter Gardier, the punter right here. There was no way he was going to catch him, but Edmonton was pumping on all cylinders tonight, and they got the big lead at halftime.
So the special teams score a touchdown for Edmonton, and then mistakes made frequently in the first half by Sacramento offensively.
Right here you see the linebacker Larry Ruck comes up and makes a nice hit on Mills, and Willie Pless flies in, the other linebacker, and makes the recovery, and it's just been all Edmonton thus far in the first half.
Yeah, Sacramento has to do something to regroup. We'll regroup for a second by going to the sidelines and check in with Mike Mayock. Mike?
Thank you, Michael. Joining me is injured running back Mike Oliphant. And Michael, pretty tough to overcome the loss of both yourself and David Archer.
Yeah, we did generate some yards last year, and we made some points. Right now they're having a tough time coping with that. Edmonton, though, does have a good defensive scheme.
Michael, you're one of the more explosive players in the league. You've played in the NFL. Give me a little bit of your differences between what you see in the NFL and the type of player there is in the CFL.
Well, CFL, it's the whole game is football, but it's a different type of football. CFL is more of a passing, style, more finesse, whereas the NFL is more of a contact sport, even though both are contact sports. But the CFL usually takes a smaller, quicker player.
Michael, thank you for joining us, and we're going to go back upstairs to Michael.
All right, and Mike Oliphant led the CFL in rushing yards from scrimmage one season ago, has the torn quad, so Troy Mills in the backfield. Mills showing some great versatility this year and a good receiver, but not tonight enough for the Sacramento Gold Miners. We're ready to start the second half. Mike Goldberg, James Curry, Mike Mayock here at Hornet Field in Sacramento. CFL action on ESPN2. The ball fielded by the Gold Miners. That is Miles, and he is hit just past the 30-yard line. Special teams play made by Malvin Hunter.
Miles brought down by Malvin Hunter.
Now, something tells me the numbers are going to be a little bit lopsided from that first half of play.
Ball to 32, first and 10.
You knew that?
Even the time of possession, 18:08 to just 11:52. The passing yards, 100 yards different for the Edmonton Eskimos with the advantage. Just 4 first downs in the first half for the young man, Kerwin Bell, who does start the second half here. Kerwin, the backup, on the blitz, dumps it off. Picked it up nicely, and so does his running back. Up past the midfield line, the big gainer for Troy Mills, finally brought down by Robert Holland.
A nice play to start the second half by Edmonton. That's what make that Sacramento, that's what they needed. You see Kerwin Bell with the quick dump. The screen pass, he got the offensive lineman out in front. Mills was able to pick those offensive linemen up as he weaved his way through that Edmonton secondary before being brought down by Holland on the play. 25-yard gain on that pass play.
Up to the 52-yard line of the Eskimos of Edmonton. And this time he is hauled down. The offensive line has been suspect indeed.
I think his footing might have given out on that play as Kerwin Bell went to plant his right heel. He put that heel down, and you got to plant with that foot firmly down, and that just comes from lack of playing time. You'll see right here as the foot gives out as he goes to plant and he falls over. He had no chance as Benny Goods was just barreling in on the rush.
And Benny Goods is a guy who has cut to the quarterback on frequent occasion. #1 on the team with 5 sacks so far this season. Loss of 8 on the play.
And Sacramento just cannot afford to keep making these critical mistakes. Every time they do something decent, a bad play once again.
Ruck with the pressure. Bell got it off. Late flag on the play. Larry Ruck was tangled with the quarterback, as was Leroy Blue, and there was a late flag thrown as Kerwin Bell was hit by the 2 defenders by Edmonton late after he got rid of the football.
Well, we'll get an intentional grounding here by Kerwin Bell on that play, because he was in the grasp of a defender and he just threw that one in the ground.
Intentional grounding on the offense, number 12, 3rd down.
And I don't know if I can read lips clearly because my glasses was on kind of crooked, but Coach K. Stevens didn't seem too pleased, and he felt that the official made a bad call on that, which he did seem like he had a receiver in his sights that he was throwing the ball at, and the official thought of it as a grounding play.
Case Stevenson said that his team just needs more on offense, and they need to jump out early. Neither of those things have happened so far in the football game. Gardere just gets it off under pressure. It's a very short kick.
It was touched by an Edmonton defender on that play. Bruce Dixon looked like he was the Edmonton player running downfield, one of the reserve linebackers, and the ball bounced back, and Sacramento was alert and recovered it.
And also gave the 5 yards on the play. Wasn't sure if that took a weird bounce or not. Look at it again. Almost blocked here on the special teams by Don Wilson.
Don Wilson was right here. As you see, it goes off of the foot of Brandon Rogers Jr. right there, and the ball is recovered by the gold miners. Kenny Wilhite, alert on the specialty team play, makes the big recovery for the gold miners.
So it is now 1st and 10 from the 48. Bell goes into double coverage again, almost intercepted. That's the 2nd time Kerwin has thrown into double coverage, almost intercepted by Don Murphy.
Well, that time Murphy played center field the way you expect the center field to do it. Murphy coming over from his free safety position. Kerwin Bell just hanging that one out too long. He is trying to force the football right now. Kerwin Bell right here, you'll see him in the pocket. Leroy Blue with the pressure just levels him in the pocket, and that's what has plagued Dave Archer thus far this season, the consistent hits along with Richard Glover by the defensive linemen of the opposing team.
You and I were talking this afternoon. He's been sacked almost 30 times. We believe David Archer has been hit 100 times already this football season, hitting Tony Hargain for the gainer. Kerwin Bell. Pless with the defensive stop for the Eskimos.
I think he more like nailed him to the turf on the play. Willie Pless came in there and leveled a shoulder in Tony Hargain as he tried to get up and run with the football, and when he tried to get up, Pless made him play for it. We'll get a shot of it right here. Watch Willie Pless as Hargain tries to get up. Just nails him to the turf right there at Hornet Stadium.
That's why he's the Terminator, baby.
Well, he almost decapitated right there.
Almost terminated him. But this drive.
What did he say? I will be back.
That's right.
Okay.
I'll be back.
You can rent that in your local video store?
Yes, you can. 3rd and 1, a gain of 9 on that play. So they'll crunch up and try to do what Damon Allen has done effectively tonight, and that's use the quarterback sneak with that 1-yard cushion on the line of scrimmage, and it works for Kerwin Bell. 1st down, Sacramento.
And that gives the crowd something to cheer about, a 1st down, a nice drive play. The offensive line getting that surge, and Kerwin Bell getting down behind those big hogs, picks up the 1st down, but he didn't get low enough, and he took some shots from linebackers Willie Pless and Larry Ruck on that play. Next time he'll know to get down below those offensive linemen.
On 1st and 10, looking near side, has his receiver, spins away from a tackle. Rod Harris hauled down at the 22-yard line by Morris Lawler.
Dan Murphy and Morris Lawler on the stop. 1st down, gold miners.
safe, simple play call by quarterback Kerwin Bell. You'll see him right here as Harris comes back to the quarterback as he breaks the tackle of a Willie Pless as he gets down inside the 25 to the 22-yard line. Excellent field position for Sacramento. Now they have to be patient and not gamble.
Rod Harris last week against Calgary, just 4 receptions for 29 yards. Pretty quiet so far tonight. Hargain with some room. Has one man to beat for the major. And he is stopped on a dime by Morris Lawler at about the 2-yard line. We'll see where they spot it, but still a good gainer, Kerwin Bell to Tony Hargain.
Well, Kerwin Bell is doing now what he should have done earlier in the game. He is throwing the short passes. He is not gambling. He is not trying to get it all in one play. He gets the crossing pattern from Hargain as he comes across, and he's going in the open area of the zone to the left side, and he breaks it back. But Lawler with the great open field play to keep him out of the end zone to deny the touchdown at the 1-yard line.
He says forget about it.
Not here.
1st and goal. The spot at the 2-yard line. They go via the ground. And nothing going there. Edmonton defensively equal to the task. The carry by Troy Mills. Holland and Pless on the tackle.
The penetration by the Edmonton defense being a little more aggressive than the Sacramento offensive line. Getting that initial surge, getting underneath, reestablishing the line of scrimmage.
Kind of like the Sacramento surge.
Ooh. Is that a ploy?
And that, of course, was the World League team that played in the World League here in Sacramento. 2nd and goal. Bell. This time they try a little misdirection. And finally on the scoreboard, the Gold Miners of Sacramento. The touchdown for Troy Mills.
Sacramento with a much-needed touchdown here early in the 3rd quarter. A nice drive mounted by quarterback Kerwin Bell to march his team down the field. Very careful with the play call and selection that he used, not to take many gambles and to get it in the end zone with the counter tray. Mills scoring from the 1-yard line.
So for the first time this evening, we see Roman Anderson, the place kicker from Houston, the all-time NCAA leading scorer with 423 points for the convert, and it is good. 34-7, Sacramento, an impressive drive capped off by the touchdown by number 20, Troy Mills from Sacramento State. We'll take a break here on The Deuce.
I'm standing in front of a sobriety check, which is one of the better ideas I've seen recently at any stadium. What happens, you're out in the parking lot like these guys having a pop or two. You come in here, you take a look, and you say, hey, whoever's had the least is going to drive home tonight, I guess. By the way, I should mention that neither Curry nor Goldberg has passed this test yet this year. Michael?
He's right about that.
Well, we're too far away to breathe into that straw. That's the reason why.
I always thought that you come the other way with liquid through a straw, but I was kind of confused by the whole situation. 10 plays, 77 yards, 5:55, capped off by the touchdown by Troy Mills, his 3rd touchdown of the season. Kerwin looked impressive, spotted off under pressure a couple of times, picked up the blitz early, and finally the Sacramento Gold Miners on the board. They trail by a bundle, though, 34-7, 8:49 remaining in the 3rd. You notice Mike Mayock didn't take the sobriety test, did he?
He was standing there with some liquid in his hand.
That is exactly right. Lucius Floyd will chase down the football, take it at about the 10-yard line. Lucius Floyd up the near side, and he's hit there by Rod Harris. Malcolm Frank also helping out on the play.
Nice coverage by the kick cover team for Sacramento to pin Edmonton down at the 20-yard line, because now defensively they have to get a surge and get a stopper out here, because Damon Allen has been very effective here in the football game tonight. Now it's time for Sacramento's defense to step up, give their offense an opportunity to get back on the field with good field position.
We should mention that throughout the history, and it is a short one for Sacramento and Edmonton, the Eskimos have been dominant over the Gold Miners. They are 3-0 lifetime. All of those 3 meetings coming last year in Sacramento's first year in the league. Lucius Floyd up the middle for a couple. Damon Allen and Edmonton defeated Sacramento in week 5, 43-11. Week 10 in Edmonton, they won 13-12. And in week 13 here in Sacramento, it was a 34-13 victory for the Eskimos over Sacramento. In that game, James Curry, Damon Allen threw for 482 yards, 4 touchdowns, 12 carries, 92 yards on the ground.
That can be very frightening if you're a defensive team and you have to face that.
Damon Allen returning for the first time since that big game, and a big hit by Jason Wallace applied to the receiver, Eddie Brown.
Brought down by Jason Wallace.
Well, the big stop that was needed by the Sacramento Gold Miners defense seems like they may have come up with it. Edmonton's going to come up a little short. Their punting team with Glenn Harper is out on the field. Now the offense from Sacramento can come right back on the field, and hopefully they can keep that momentum.
Well, on a 3rd and 1 situation, they will kick the football with a big-time lead, 27 points. Glenn Harper, Fort Garry, Manitoba, Washington State graduate, with the kick to Rod Harris, fielded at the 31-yard line. Check that, 36, brought down at the 46. A return of 10 yards, the hit on the play by Bruce Dixon. We'll take a timeout. 34-7 our score, 7:16 remaining in the 3rd. Sports section today, the headline reads, in the CFL, it's Damon, not Marcus Allen. Damon Allen is his own man in the Canadian Football League. He has proven it on his own that he is a player too.
As I was growing up, we played street ball, and I think everyone knows in this country that he's a great football player. And I think you have a tendency to learn all the things and experiences he go through in college and professional football, that you want to draw some from it. But as I became older and more mature and understanding what type of player to be on and off the field, it's been a tribute to his success. But now, I can give him the game fields and he can learn.
He can learn from me. Talking to big brother. Kerwin Bell dumps it off. And a big gainer all the way to the 50-yard line. Defensive play made by Larry Ruck. Mills, the ball carrier, off the small little dump off. And that's what I think, James Curry, you would like to see Kerwin Bell do more of.
Well, I think those are very safe passes, and they slow down the pass rush of a defense. And you have to account for this running back. You can no longer blitz all your linebackers. You have to leave 1 or 2 back in coverage to pick up the back circling out of the backfield.
I just want to say, I don't think it's fair to have Troy Mills and Charles Miles in the same backfield. Miles can't hold on to the football. Big fumble. Turnover again. Willie Pless coming up with the football. That's the 3rd time that Willie Pless, the guy we heard from earlier who says, I have a nose for the football, has recovered the loose one on the turf here in Sacramento.
And that is the 2nd fumble tonight by Miles, who has laid the ball on the ground, and Willie Pless has been able to recover both. Right here, looked to be a good play going, but Tony Woods, the big defensive tackle from Oklahoma, slips that big paw and then strips Miles of the ball, and Pless, Johnny on the spot, recovers at the 45-yard line.
Willie Pless, the Terminator, terminating another scoring opportunity for the Sacramento Gold Miners tonight. Damon Allen, play action again, pressure's on, and he is hit. And brought down. Give the credit for the sack to Corian Freeman.
The 2nd-year CFL linebacker out of Florida State. You'll see Damon here with the boot right here as he ducks. You'll see Corian come in from the right, and he drops Damon Allen. Got a knee right there in the hip. Damon got up limping slightly after that play, but a big play by the Sacramento defense.
Corian Freeman from Los Angeles, the linebacker from Florida State, as my partner mentioned. Played and started 10 games with the Winnipeg Bombers earlier in his career. 2nd year here with the Miners. Allen on 2nd and 19. Pressure again. Ledbetter. He gets away. Does Damon. Damon now with big man Willie Fears near him. Damon Allen eludes another tackler, and he's hit hard. Waited just long enough that he paid for it. Curtis Moore really applied a hit to Damon Allen.
Curtis Moore.
He bought his time, James, but he bought a little bit too much of it.
Well, the Sacramento defense has started asserting itself here in the 3rd quarter. You'll see right here as Curtis Moore gets a shove right in the last second there from Leo Groenwegen, the offensive guard for Edmonton, and drove Damon Allen out of bounds.
So pressure on Allen twice there, and Harris will receive the punt at the 31-yard line. And he is tripped up right there. Dan Murphy with the special teams play.
Harris tripped up by 24, Dan Murphy.
Roller hockey playoff action continues on the Deuce. The Atlanta Fire Ants look to put the heat to the Minnesota Arctic Blast. It's Monday at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. Roller Hockey International. We're in the playoffs, and it's right here on the Deuce.
Now, Spike, between you and me, could you play that game?
Absolutely.
You're the man.
Could you play that game?
What game?
Exactly. I know you can play this game,
all right.
CFL. And you probably have a hat like that,
Let's
too,
put the
don't you?
pads on.
See, that would be a gold mine.
Okay.
Thus the light.
Look like a coal mine.
That too.
Could have been his daughter.
Oh, no. No, leave that alone. Just leave that alone. Hit made by Bruce Dixon on Rod Harris. 34-7 our score. Thus James Curry becomes Eddie Murphy.
Gain of 5, second.
Yeah, I thought we left all the humor to Mike Mayock.
Oh, okay. All right. Let's get back to the game. Kerwin Bell stuck here in a 2nd and 6 situation behind 7-34. He has 27 points to make up. He needs to find a sense of urgency because in the CFL, the game is never over until that final gun goes off. And so you can come back from just about any lead that you have to succumb.
All on the 41, 2nd and 4. And they mark it. He gets the first down to Trey Everett. Everett trying to break the tackle. Morris Lawler on the pressure defensively. And a nice second effort by Trey Everett.
Morris Lawler and Willie Bless.
Now what Kerwin Bell is doing right now, Mike, is that he is playing that controlled passing game. He is taking what the defense allows him to take. He is not forcing the ball. He's throwing the short underneath pass routes that are very safe in front of the coverage and allowing his receivers to run after making the reception.
And making the decision he's going to throw the ball to Trey Everett because, you know, he played at Florida too.
What is that, an alumni thing?
It is an alumni thing. Kerwin a little bit older though, but Trey had success with the Gators also. This time, good defensive play by Robert Holland, who has been inspired so far this season. And tonight, indeed, he has enjoyed playing here in Sacramento. James Pruitt, the intended receiver.
Holland has played a wonderful game. Bell not getting much pressure, throws a strike, but a great break on the ball by Holland, getting that right hand in, stripping Pruitt of the football before he can make the reception. Playing in front of a lot of home fans here tonight in Sacramento. Robert Holland.
Robert Holland, as we've mentioned a couple of times, Cal State Sacramento. Right here he played collegiately. Bell on 2nd and 10. Goes over the middle, incomplete. Trey Everett, the intended receiver. Again, Morris Lawler on the coverage.
And Kerwin Bell has been in that position too many times tonight to be successful. You cannot allow your quarterback to be on his backside continuously throughout a football game if you expect to win, if you expect for them to stay healthy.
How do you fix the offensive line problems for Sacramento?
Well, the thing, when Curran has had his success tonight, he has thrown the short passes. Now, that last play when he tried to go 40 yards downfield, the pressure got to him, and you cannot allow that. You have to stay within the confines of what a defense allows you to do and just nickel and dime up and down the field.
Pete Gardere, the kick, fielded by Gizmo Williams. We have flags all over the field. Gizmo hauled down at about the 35-yard line. David Diaz-Infante with the special teams play.
We're going to get a defensive holding on this situation here, trying to get blocks for the Giz, and that time he cost his team one of the defenders.
Holding, number 39 on the return team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Willie Pless
finally made a mistake.
Well, he got caught.
There you go.
He's been...
Willie Pless has recovered 3 fumbles. This time, he could not cover his mistake. 34-7 our score in the third. On the Deuce.
The level of talent in the CFL has probably been the best kept secret in North America for a long, long time.
It's a more wide open game, a little faster paced. There's more scoring in this league.
When you go into the fourth quarter, you can be up 3 touchdowns and the game is not out of reach. I mean, you can have 10 minutes left in the game. The game is still not out of reach.
A fast-moving, exciting, entertaining style of a football game. I think the CFL has it all over any league.
Edmonton leads by 27, 2:44 remaining in the third. Downstairs to Mike Mayock.
Thank you, Michael. You know, it's the unit behind me right here, the offense for Sacramento that's been killing them all night. I just listened to the defensive coordinator, Bill Urbanek, talking to his group. He said, hey, fellas, a couple of things real quickly. Number one, get in and out, 2 plays and out, but you got to start taking chances. You got to go after the ball, whether it's a running play or a passing play. Be aggressive. And the last thing he said, you got to play as well as you talk, fellas. Michael?
All right, thank you, Mike. You know, Mike Mayock pointed out the fact that defensively Sacramento needs to take chances. They did so on the last series, had good pressure on Damon Allen on both the plays, and it was a quick drive halted as Lucius Floyd takes the ball out to the left, and again the defense equal to the task. And again, you see the 34 points on the scoreboard tonight for Edmonton, but don't say that it has not been a decent effort by the Sacramento defense. They have been put in bad field position. There have been some special teams points. As a matter of fact, it could be a lot worse if it weren't for this defense. Those couple of times they held the Edmonton Eskimos to field goals when there were situations where they could have gotten 7.
That has been a key, that the defense has been able to rise to the occasion they've been, but they haven't broken right here. They have another critical 2nd and 11 situation, and they need to come up with a play to get their offense back on the field once again.
And Damon Allen on the 2nd and 11, intercepted, and room for the end zone. He could go into the end zone. Jason Wallace for the touchdown. Jason Wallace with the pick and the TD. And they always know where the camera is.
Well, I think he might have got a little tutelage from you. But great play on the ball by Jason Wallace. Damon Allen was sitting in the pocket. He wasn't feeling any pressure from the defense and had his time to find his receivers over the field. You'll see him here sitting in the shotgun, little half roll right. As he looks backside to pick up his secondary receiver coming across the middle, Wallace jumps the route as J.P. Esquerdo was coming across the middle, and he picked up a convoy heading to the end zone, and he had the nose to get across that goal line for the 2nd touchdown for Sacramento tonight.
Just talked about that defense of Sacramento, 27 yards on the return, and all of a sudden it is 34-14, and Bill Urbanek indeed was prophetic in talking to his defense. And David Archer said last week that the defense did a heck of a job holding Calgary to 25 points.
Well, they did a wonderful job tonight. When you look at the numbers that Edmonton has put up on the scoreboard, 34 points, and you look at their offensive production numbers, they're not that great, and so that means that the defense for Sacramento has been doing their part. It's just the turnovers that has killed their offense. They have 5 turnovers offensively tonight, and it's very difficult to win the game when you have 5 turnovers. Watch Mills right here as all the receivers, you have 3 in one area of the field. Right there you have a blown route, and Esquerdo and Brown ran into each other, and at that point Wallace picks it off, takes it into the end zone. Floyd could not deny him before getting across the end line.
Jason Wallace was the MVP his senior year with the Virginia Cavaliers. In his career, started 30 of 32 games collegiately, 112 tackles, 11 interceptions. He gets the interception here on the deuce. Turns it into 7.
The big
27-yard return.
The big play that they needed, and you see Damon Allen and Ron Lancaster. Ron is telling Damon, you should have recognized, you do not throw the ball in the coverage like that. You got 5 defensive backs in the one area of the field. You got to throw where the coverage is not.
Well, they'll try it again. Lucius Floyd has a little room at the 30, brought down about the 34-yard line. Called down by Troy Mills. Damon Allen on the sideline, disgusted in his effort on that last play. 8 interceptions on the year coming in, so that his 9th interception so far this season.
Well, he was conferring with the backup quarterback, Ricky Foggy, out of Minnesota, coming in, getting some play suggestions from Ricky Foggy and head coach Ron Lancaster. Now the pressure is on the Edmonton offense once again. They've been a little stagnant here in the second half, and let's see if they can get some offensive productivity and can this Sacramento defense stay fired up.
They trail 34-14. Sacramento does to give to Floyd off left tackle. They get just a couple. George Bethune leading the surge defensively for the Sacramento Gold Miners. Leonard Nelson also there on the defensive stop. He's credited for the tackle.
Well, you get a big push from this defensive front. You'll see Floyd trying to go off tackle left. You'll see Nelson playing off the block of Michael Souls, the fullback, grabbed him around the leg with help from George Bethune on the cleanup. This Sacramento defense is playing inspired football at the moment.
36-yard line. 2nd and 8. Allen has time. Ledbetter now chasing. Allen dumps it off. It will be short of the first down. Well, again, Sacramento with the surge defensively.
J.P. Escuero on the reception, on the play, but this Sacramento defense, you have to like the last 3 series, Mike, that they've produced on the field defensively. They've come up, they've made the plays, they've held Edmonton in check and not allowed a first down.
Yeah, Kenny Wilhite didn't give J.P. any room to run with the football, thus another punting situation. But got the top 2 return guys in the CFL, and Rod Harris and Gizmo Williams. Gizmo has one, as we won't even get the kick here. As it looks like we had some flags on the play, but I was starting to say, Rod Harris, will he break one open tonight?
Well, he has a long this year in the CFL on a punt return, a 102-yard punt return early in the season against Las Vegas, and Sacramento was able to pull that game out on the last play of the game, where he also caught the winning touchdown pass.
They're going to have to give him his 5. They do. No flags. Harris not with a lot of room to work with, though. Good special teams coverage. The Edmonton Eskimos, led by number 36, Bruce Dixon.
Blanketing by the Edmonton's punt cover team. They kept their lanes. They corralled Rod Harris, didn't give him a lane to hit, and brought him down for no gain after that punt.
Kerwin Bell got a little help last time from his defense. Kerwin Bell, we hope, will have a little renewed confidence here. This is important for the future, too, because David Archer is an older quarterback. I won't say old because he'll get mad at us, but he's an older quarterback, and obviously if Sacramento continues to be in the CFL, Kerwin Bell is their future. This is the last play of the quarter. Always a last play after the clock runs out in the CFL. Bell dumps it off to Mills. Mills with the spin move. He's brought down at the 37-yard line by Dan Wilson. We have played 3 quarters here in Sacramento. Kerwin Bell trying to bring back the Gold Miners in front of the hometown fans. 34-14 is our score here on ESPN2. Start the 4th quarter here in Sacramento. Mike Goldberg, James Curry, Mike Mayock after the play. The tackle on Rod Harris. Watch the face mask here. 17, Robert Holland.
Hollis has been very aggressive this evening. He's made a couple of great plays on passes, but that time he got his hand caught in a cookie jar, cost his team an extra 15 yards after that reception. Sacramento has the ball in great field position down at the 41-yard line on first down.
That was Troy Mills on the return, not Rod Harris, pardon me. 34-14, so all of a sudden good field position, James, as you mentioned, as we are just underway here in the 4th. Kerwin Bell to the air. Goes to his short receiver, James Pruitt, and there's Holland right there defensively. And he throws him down with authority.
Robert Holland.
Holland's a little bit of a player, huh?
He's aggressive. He got that little mean streak in him tonight. He's asserting himself against these receivers of the Sacramento Gold Miners, but that's what you need if you're going to play in the secondary. You got to have a long stride and a short memory and be able to hit people from time to time.
Came in just 12 tackles on the year. He's probably got about half of those tonight. That's about 18 now total on the season. 2nd and 1, gain of 9 on that play. They'll go up the middle and get the first down. The ball carrier, Troy Mills, who also played collegiately here at Sacramento State. He's from Sacramento. Here's your stats through 3 quarters. First downs all of a sudden a little bit closer.
But the killing point for Sacramento all night had been the 4 turnovers. And when you look at the passing yardage, 195 to 208, Sacramento has been in this game. It's just the turnovers has killed them, and that's why the 34 points for Edmonton tonight.
They put their defense in some very bad positions in this football game. 1st and 10, ball on the 28-yard line. Kerwin Bell back to pass. Kerwin Bell double pumps, triple pumps, has Hargain. Defender got there. Hargain can't haul it in. Defensive coverage by Dan Murphy.
Intended for Tony Hargain.
Kerwin Bell held the ball just a little too long and locked in on his receiver, and he couldn't look off the safety, Dan Murphy. As you see him coming across, he knew where Kerwin Bell was going to go with the ball and got there just the last moment as Hargain was falling back into the end zone, got the fingertip on it, and knocked it away and saved the touchdown.
Dan Murphy from Edinburgh, Scotland, Acadia University, 4th year with the Eskimos and the CFL. So it goes for a long incompletion. 2nd and 10 on the 28. They need to score on this drive. Bell, lots of time. Kerwin looks, sideline, Hargain can't haul it in. Tony Hargane should have hauled that one in.
Well, you had two Sacramento receivers in that same area on the field, and this is not a tough decision time. He's elected to go 2 times prior to this, and he's going to send in the field goal team. A questionable decision by Coach K. Stevens, but look at Hargane. He just shorthanded that one. He should have extended those arms, made the reception, and got his team a first down.
His good friend Morris on the coverage again. Had him pretty tight.
A frustrated Kerwin Bell right there, who knew he should have had the touchdown on the play previous to that, where he held the ball too long, allowed the safety Dan Murphy to come over and make that saving bat knockdown on the play.
So a 35-yard field goal attempt for Roman Anderson. Did we see some trickery? Nope. Anderson will kick it. It is up. It is wide. Gizmo. Will he try to bring it out? No, he will contest the single. So a single scored by Sacramento on the missed field goal by Roman Anderson. That's not going to get them what they need. Sacramento trails 34-15. 34-15 our score. 12:41 remaining in regulation. Mike Mayock has been down on the sidelines all evening long. And Michael, I'll tell you what, Kerwin Bell, first game of the season, it has been a struggle, hasn't it?
Sure has been a struggle, but I think it's an appropriate time right now just to reinforce the fact that in this league, being down 19 points with 12:41 is nothing. James, you know, you can attest to this more than anyone. In this league, 19 points, you got to be kidding me, right?
Well, even this Sacramento team ran into a situation similar to this last year in Vancouver, where they were playing the BC Lions, and they were down 19 points going into the fourth quarter, and they overcame that 19-point lead and scored a total of 30 points in the fourth quarter alone.
First and 10, ball on the 35 for Edmonton. Damon Allen has been frustrated the last couple of series by the defense of Sacramento. Pressure on again. Bethune chases him towards the sideline. He slides out of bounds after gaining just a couple. What adjustments have you seen from field level by the Sacramento defense, Mike?
Well, I think more than anything, it's been a pickup in their intensity. Since the second half started, these guys have been flying to the ball much better than I saw in the first half. By the way, for the record, James, on that field goal, I agree with the decision. Even though we missed it, I think going for the field goal on 3rd and 10 at this point in time was the right call. How about you?
Well, it's a tough decision after you neglected to go for 2 earlier in the game, and then you go for the 1 and you miss it and you only end up with the single. You need touchdowns to try to overcome that lead, and they haven't been that well at getting the ball in the end zone all evening.
Allen dumps off to Lucius Floyd. Lucius hit hard at the 40-yard line, short of the first down.
And Mike, you know, you're talking about the defense with the intensity. We saw it right there with Miller, the middle linebacker, coming up, planting the running back Lucius Floyd after he caught that short pass.
Listen to it again. Hurley Brown also in on the play.
That's football, fellas.
Ouch, babe. Kick to Rod Harris. Harris at the 22-yard line. Special teams pressure overruns him, but he is brought down by 23. J.P. Izquierdo.
You tried.
I know, I did. I wasn't even going to say it. You said
J.P. Izquierdo.
J.P. Izquierdo.
There you go.
You know what J.P. stands for?
J.P.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
But we got a push in the back here against
In other words,
Edmonton.
find your media guide, right?
Yeah, that's it. Parents couldn't think of a name. Gave him a couple of initials. Told him live with it. He's been carrying it the rest of his life.
Block on the return team number 10. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Jean Paul from the University of Calgary.
I think you're making it up.
No, it's right here in the book.
Yeah.
5'11", 195, Naples, Florida. Second year with the Eskimos. 4th year in the CFL.
Where'd he come from? Prior to that, Toronto. Don't look it up.
8-for-8 deal. I could just guess that because, you know, they're like, in that 8-for-8 deal, there were like 16 players involved.
Which side?
First and 10 on the 15.
We're going to give you kudos, Spike.
Thank you very much, sir. To the flat, to Mills. Mills out to about the 22-yard line, gain of 7. Willie Pless on the stop.
We've heard Willie's name often tonight.
Yes, we have.
Fumble recoveries, tackles. He even threw in a penalty there for us at one point.
Well, he led the Eskimos with 77 tackles last year. He was their nominee as the outstanding player. Last 4 years, he's been a Western All-Star. In college, a Lombardi and Butkus Award nominee, second-team All-America as a junior at KU. And a big hit right at the line of scrimmage is trying to go to the ground again, Sacramento. Tony Woods with the stop for the Eskimos.
Very questionable play call there. Tony Woods, the big defensive tackle out of the University of Oklahoma. And Kerwin Bell is going to have to leave the field as Peter Carder, the punter, and the rest of the punt team comes onto the field. But right there we see as that Edmonton defense bowls up his back and tries to make a wishbone out of Mills there.
Yeah, that was Caven Jenkins on the call. Caven Jenkins getting the first call of the evening. Pete Gardner to kick for the 7th time. His average right around 38 yards.
Came in with a 42-yard average, so he's about 5 yards, 4.5 yards under his average on the night.
It's about 3 seconds in the 40, too slow to catch Gizmo earlier this football game. Gizmo at the 44, already has a touchdown return. Tries to scamper through, but this time nothing going. We'll take a timeout here on ESPN2. 9:42 remaining in regulation. It is 34-15. Edmonton in control. It's all Edmonton in the first half. In the second half, it has been all Sacramento.
Well, that 20 points in the first quarter really put Sacramento in a hole, and they just couldn't find a way to dig themselves out of it. And Sacramento tried to do some things in the second half. They shortened up the passing game, were able to get 15 points out of it. And hopefully they can make another stop defensively here on Edmonton.
David Archer talking to the offensive unit of his football team. You got that right. Caven Jenkins, number 23 of the Miners offensively. I'm surprised they haven't gone to Caven more often. He's getting into playing shape after coming over in the offseason from Calgary, but he's a guy who was impressive last week against the Stampeders, but has not been used frequently tonight.
Well, a very experienced CFL running back, and I think he might be an asset if they gave him more time because he recognizes things so quickly when he's on the field.
Well, on the field now, Damon Allen in the offensive unit of the Edmonton Eskimos. They're under 10 minutes. He dumps it off to the flat. And Ledbetter also on the play. Malcolm Frank defensively. Gizmo Williams on the reception. They haven't gone to Gizmo a lot in the air.
Well, he's not the top receiver on the team. They look at him about the second or third receiver down the tier. It all depends on who's in the lineup on those days. He's their primary kick returner, and a lot of times he expends so much energy on the specialty teams that when it comes back to the passing offense, he's not in top flight all the time.
With the guns he's got, and this is a small man, very compact, very muscular, tough for him to stretch out for the football. Thus an example right there as the good defensive play made by number 90, Leonard Nelson of the Gold Miners. 2 and out again. Sacramento defensively are putting the goose egg on the board for Edmonton here in the second half.
And that's one of the things you spoke about, Gizmo not being able to extend himself because of his muscularity. That was a perfect example on that last play as he let the ball get to his chest and he couldn't get his hands out to catch it in flight.
So another punting situation for the Edmonton Eskimos. Harris to take it on the 10. Harris in trouble. Now he gets a little bit of breathing room. Breaks one tackle. Gets outside the 20. He'll get up past the 30. As we mentioned earlier, the 2 best in the league are here tonight. And Harris makes do with very little room on that return.
This game is always exciting. The CFL, the specialty teams, you cannot take them for granted. It is 1/3 of the game in the CFL. And we'll see Rod Harris here as he gathers this ball in and weaves his way through defenders, picking his way, good blocks from his teammates as he high steps around the corner right there, and he picks up 27 yards on this return to get Sacramento out to the 37-yard line.
Michael Souls tried to grab the sole of Rod Harris's shoe.
I like
could
that.
not do it. You like that?
Yes.
Thank you very much, sir. I am here to please you, James Curry, and Mike Mayock.
I'm just happy to be in your presence. I am honored.
Well, you know, here we go. Kerwin Bell to the flat. Tony Harkin wide open, hauls it in, goes out of bounds at the 54-yard line, forced out on the play by Robert Holland.
A very nice ball thrown by Kerwin Bell, Mike, on that play, and that ball had to travel a very long distance. That's a very deep outright route, and Kerwin Bell demonstrates a lot of arm strength right here because he puts this one on the money, a nice tight spiral to Hargan as he steps out of bounds up at the 40, make that the 53-yard line.
Tony Hargain out of Center High School here in Sacramento. Last week against Calgary, very impressive, 7 receptions for 153 yards. The first athlete in 15 years to play hoops and football at the University of Oregon. So 1st and 10 from the 53. This time he just dumps it off to Miles, and Miles is tackled immediately after the reception by Larry Ruck.
Larry Ruck, ever present on the field. You know, there's an interesting thing about Larry Ruck. He's legally blind in one eye. And early in his career, they played him on the outside so that he would always see things coming from one direction. And now, late in his career, he's been moved into the middle.
Larry Ruck came in tonight as the #1 tackler in the Canadian Football League, and he'll pick up another one for statistics there as he hauls down Miles. Tried to strip him with a football, but Miles holds on there, and all of a sudden, Kerwin Bell with the quick hits moving the offense of the Gold Mine.
Well, that's being a canny old veteran trying to make the play defensively. You know, they're moving the ball, and they had a lot of turnovers tonight, and Ruck figured that he could make another one on that play.
Clock is ticking, though. Just over 7 minutes remaining. Kerwin Bell again. Bell complete to Tony Jones. No huddles working very effectively. No catch, though, the call. As Barry forced him out of bounds. Ed Barry defensively on the coverage of Tony Jones, who had the big touchdown last week here on the Deuce.
Very questionable call by the officials. He gets both feet down after making the reception. That generally is the key. But he was stripped by of the ball by Ed Barry, who came up quickly from his secondary position to make the play.
Ed Barry grew up right down the road. He's from San Francisco, played his collegiate football at Utah State. Last year, 44 tackles and 2 picks. So a 2nd and 10, ball on the 44 for the Sacramento Gold Miners in Edmonton territory. Bell goes for it all to Hargain. Defensive play made on the 10-yard line by Dan Murphy.
Once again, Kerwin Bell got too much air under the ball, feeling the pressure from the defensive front of Edmonton as they came with the blitz. He has not looked off Dan Murphy. You'll see the pressure coming from Leroy Blue right up the middle as he fires that, but Dan Murphy, reading quarterback Kerwin Bell's eyes, able to break on the ball, get over for the 2nd time to bat that one away from Hargan tonight.
He was the top pick, 3rd overall in 1991. You see right there why. Now 3rd and 10, and this time they decide to go for it.
Well, they're a little bit out of the field goal range of Anderson.
And the clock is down to 6 minutes and 18 seconds. Here comes the blitz. Picked up nicely by the defenser or the offensive back, but it is not going to help. As Kerwin Bell is sacked, the blitz was on the way. Leroy Blue gets the sack on Kerwin Bell. Glenn Rogers with the pursuit. Edmonton in control. 34-15 our score on the Deuce. Kerwin Bell not able to cap off what was an impressive drive until Edmonton made 2 big plays defensively. The first by Dan Murphy.
Well, right here you see Murphy back playing center field, but Kerwin Bell never looks him off, and as Hargain came clear, Murphy broke across on the ball, got there at the last moment to deflect it away.
And then the big man, Glenn Rogers Jr., started the big pursuit on Kerwin Bell on the 3rd and 10 play.
Came with the halfback blitz, flushed Kerwin Bell up in the pocket. Leroy Blue with the sack to foil the drive.
Yeah, the running back picked up the blitz, but still there was enough surge defensively against the Sacramento Gold Miners quarterback Kerwin Bell, and it has been a very difficult night. Kerwin's going to use some of those ice packs I think David Archer had to use last week, because again the offensive line at best has been suspect for the Sacramento Gold Miners. 3rd sack of the contest, that last one by Leroy Blue. 3 sacks this season for Leroy. Damon on a quick hit to the sideline to Gizmo Williams, gains about 7. Little League World Series. The big boys may be taking some time off, but the Little Leaguers are raring to go. Comprehensive coverage of the Little League World Series starts Monday on ESPN Classic and on the Deuce. The little guys, the essence of baseball, continue to play no matter what the major leaguers do.
And that's what the game of baseball is all about. I'm looking at your forearms. Did you ever swing the bat?
Yes, sir.
In warm-ups or what?
I swung it. Lucius Floyd swings through the middle. Yeah, I used to take a couple of cuts at it. I played more hockey, though. That's why I like this Canadian football thing.
That's the thing about the scars on the face, huh?
Yes,
A? All right.
B.
Lucius Floyd right here getting the ball deep in the eye where he can read his blocking as it develops, as he comes straight up the middle and picks up the 1st down on the play.
Greg Jolson with the defensive stop. Now, I got a question for you in the CFL, the way the clock works a little differently than the NFL. Can you really run out the clock in this situation? with 5 minutes left.
Well, it's almost impossible to run out the clock in the CFL because you don't have the opportunity to establish your running game to that level because you only have the 2 downs versus the 3 downs to try to pick up the first down.
And thus they are in that situation right now. 2nd and 10. Ron Lancaster. Hey, Ron Lancaster also spent 10 years where we are right now in the broadcast booth with our friends up north at the CBC network, who our partner here, James Curry, does some work for. 10 years he was a broadcaster. Said, forget it, I'm going to go back down and coach. I thought it was always safer up here. Damon Allen on the keeper. Damon's got some room. Damon Allen's got the first down.
Damon Allen takes it upon himself when needed to make the big play. The quarterback has been getting a lot of pressure the past couple of series by the Sacramento defensive front. They separated a seam right in the middle. You'll see him take the ball in the shotgun. This is the design. The tackle split, go to the outside. He goes right up the middle behind center Rod Conop and picks up the first down to the 28-yard line.
Curtis Moore with the stop defensively. So indeed, on the run for really the first time here in the second half are the Eskimos of Edmonton offensively. They're at the 27-yard line to give to Floyd over the left side. He'll get just a couple. He's stopped by the big man, Willie Fears. Now, we told the story last week about Willie Fears. Tell it to us again, Big James Curry.
Well, Willie Fears, during the offseason, is a detention officer in a maximum security prison in Arkansas. Actually works on death row, and so he is one tough hombre. He is known as Mr. Fears when he's not at work.
Tucker, Arkansas. You know how tough he is? He also plays the piano and sings gospel. And it doesn't matter how he sings, because everybody looks at Willie and says, you know, my friend, that sounded great.
Hit every note.
You got that right. Eddie Brown can't hold on to that pass from Damon Allen, incomplete on the play. So that will bring down the 3rd down situation and bring on the field goal unit. Hurley Brown on the defense.
Well, Edmonton has done what they needed to move the ball down to get in the scoring range to bring Sean Fleming in for his 5th field goal attempt, make that his 6th of the game. He's had a very good evening kicking the football, and this one is going to be a 31-yard attempt.
Well, last year against Sacramento, Sean Fleming kicked a 58-yard field goal. He doesn't have one that long tonight, but he certainly has been consistent. And this kick is up, and it is good. 5 for 5 tonight. Mr. Consistency, Sean Fleming. 3:05 remaining. We are at the almost 3-minute warning here on ESPN2. Edmonton is going to win this football game and up their record to 5-2 on the year. 37-15. Sean Fleming, check that, 5 of 6 on the evening with the foot, but still I'd say that's pretty darn consistent.
Not a bad evening, and the one that he missed was from about 54 yards out. He missed that, and he had an extra 20 yards on the end of it. He could have hit that if it had been accurate from about 65 to 70 yards out.
And still had the single.
He got the single out of it, so he's had a pretty good night scoring tonight.
So that would be, well, I can't think of the converts too, never mind. He's got a lot of points tonight,
that's
around
right.
20.
You know, I trust you.
Damon Allen, responsible for a lot of points, has to be a little bit frustrated. You can kind of see it in his eyes because he's such a competitor. All quarterbacks want to be perfectionists. With the way that the offense has sputtered, though, in the second half.
He hasn't been able to put up the numbers that he would like to have tonight.
1st and 10, ball at the 35.
1st and 10, ball at the 35. No kickoff again. Kerwin Bell goes up top, trying to reach for it. Was Rod Harris just outside his outreached arms. We've compared so far tonight Damon and Marcus a little bit. Take a look at this. Kind of interesting to see the Allen family and the things that these two guys have accomplished in their careers. Pro seasons, almost the same. Rushing yards, Marcus with the lead. Total yards, because Damon gets credit for him in the air. Much more. Touchdowns, but the championship MVPs. 2 Grey Cup MVPs for Damon, 1 Super Bowl MVP for Marcus.
Well, you have to look at that, and you have to feel proud for Mother and Papa Allen, who probably has all of those trophies in their house, sitting up, and they get a chance to walk around and brag about their 2 sons.
And Damon was quoted earlier this week talking about his family and the support that he got in his career. As Robert Holland gets the hit on Rod Harris, saying that on Saturdays, folks would be here Cal State Fullerton to watch Damon play collegiately. On Sunday, Mom and Dad would get in the car and make it to L.A. to see Marcus play in the National Football League. So Mom and Dad were always there for Damon and for Marcus.
Well, you have to be proud when you have two sons of the caliber of the Allen family, and Marcus in the NFL with the Kansas City Chiefs now, and Damon here in the CFL with the Edmonton Eskimos. They've had two illustrious careers, and when these guys get out of football, they're going to have a lot of good times to look back on and talk about and share with their kids in the future. And
Damon will always share with Marcus the fact that he broke all of his high school records, broke Big Brother's high school records, breaking Kerwin Bell down right there. Trying to get up and run was the Eskimos' Benny Goods. Benny had the roll, had the football, couldn't get to it. Hunter forced the fumble, and that will definitely put the capper on the Gold Miners this evening, who will fall to 3-4 in this CFL season after being the best ever expansion team last year with a record of 6-12.
And Kerwin Bell, you can see the frustration on the Kerwin Bell. Right here as the pocket collapse on him as he tries to turn around. He is met by Hunter and Pless, and Benny Goods is right there to pick up the loose ball before being dropped on the play by Dyko, the offensive lineman, and the ball is at the 9-yard line again, and Edmonton will put this one away for good right here on this series.
With that turnover by Kerwin Bell, maybe we can finish up this Allen family story in a perfect little wrap. Damon Allen has a chance to pad the scoreboard a little bit. Damon Allen will hand it off to Lucius Floyd. He stutter steps and gets just a couple of yards.
Lucius Floyd, the ball carrier.
Defensive stop by Leonard Nelson. Damon Allen, Cal State Fullerton. 10 years in the CFL. 1987, 1993. Outstanding player in the Grey Cup. Also a heck of a baseball player. 94 training camp with the Pirates. And Major League Baseball was his first love, but he struggled in his first camp. Said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go right to the CFL. Never thought about the NFL, and I'm going to be a star, and that's what he's been.
You know, one of the highlights of his preseason baseball is that he got a chance to strike out Michael Jordan, who he had known in the past, and got a chance to face him athletically.
And got a chance to go to Michael Souls for the gainer to the 1-yard line. Hurley Brown saving the touchdown. Michael Souls wanted to get that major.
Well, this is a situation where Edmonton will most likely go for it on third down, and I would not be surprised to see Michael Souls get the handoff to see if he can punch it in from the 1-yard line. This is a situation in the CFL. People say, well, why are they trying to score? In the CFL, in the playoff format, sometimes it comes down to tiebreakers, and the total points can be the decision maker in that instance.
Decision maker there, the fact that you've got that 1 yard off the football, and it's another touchdown for the man we've been talking about a lot, Damon Allen, his second keeper into the end zone. Damon Allen with 2 touchdowns on the evening, 9 now on the season.
Well, you'll see Damon Allen here as he gets there and he dives over the top to the right there, and he squeaks right into the end zone under Miller, the middle linebacker. And when you look at the storyline of tonight's game, it has been the defense of Edmonton continuously forcing the turnovers of the Gold Miners and the offense being able to capitalize on them.
The defense of Edmonton, we were talking about it earlier, has always seemed to dominate the offense of Sacramento. Coming into this game in 1993, the 3 meetings all won by Edmonton. The Eskimos, a combined scoring, outscored Sacramento 90-36. The Miners never scored over 13 points. I guess you could say it's an accomplishment in itself that Sacramento scored 15. They finally got more than 13 points against the Eskimo defense, but not nearly enough.
Well, the biggest problem Kerwin Bell was faced with tonight was his inconsistency of throwing the short ball. He wanted to gamble. He wanted to throw deep time and time again. If you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And when you keep facing 2nd and 10, it puts your offense in an unenviable situation where the defense knows what you have to do. You need to be able to pick up 10 yards, and they can roll up the coverage on you.
Be interesting to see as the CFL season rolls on if David Archer is healthy enough to play next week against Matt Dunnigan and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Be interesting to see how healthy Matt Dunnigan is after he was hurt in the game earlier this week 7 of the CFL season against the Ottawa franchise. Miles at the 8. Miles over the 20. Miles to about the 29-yard line.
Miles brought down by 13.
We talked about it on frequent occasion over the last couple of days in conversation, James Curry. We talked about the fact that being the Grey Cup champions like the Edmonton Eskimos are is a very difficult thing because now they got to defend that title. Now everybody's coming to them. I think they've reasserted a little bit of their dominance tonight here on the road in Sacramento.
Well, the pressure of defending your title, the pressure of fighting complacency when you don't make a lot of roster changes, which Edmonton did not do in the offseason. They came in basically intact with the team that won the championship last year, and those guys came in feeling, I guess, that things would just happen for them naturally, and they had 2 losses early in the season coming into tonight's game at 4-2, and I think they got a wake-up call this week, and they're going to play football like they were expected to play this season.
Bell eluded the rush, dumped it off to James Pruitt, played defensively by Larry Ruck.
Brought down by Larry Ruck.
And for Sacramento, the good thing, I guess, is this ends a tough span of 3 weeks. First it was the BC Lions, then Calgary, now Edmonton. 3 of the best teams in the western side of the Canadian Football League. So Sacramento has gotten through the tough part, at least for now, but the problem is they didn't win any of the football games.
Well, also they go into that snake pit into the Eastern Conference next week when they face the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, who are the highest scoring team in the CFL.
And then it is back here at home against the BC Lions, and then at Baltimore, the American team enjoying the most success so far this CFL season.
So it doesn't get any easier for the Sacramento Gold Miners. The thing is, they have to find a way to shore up their offensive line, to give their quarterbacks more protection if they expect to win any more football games this season.
Mills with a little bit of room, hit by his counterpart number 20, Dan Wilson. And if you're Edmonton right now, you don't want any points scored against you, but you're thinking, hey, let's get this game over with, huh?
Well, that's a key. You know, you don't want to have any more injuries tonight. You want to get them off the field as quick as possible. I don't think that anything else good can occur for Sacramento tonight. You know, and here we go again. Once again, Kerwin Bell airing it out deep. When you have an offense that hasn't clicked all night long, you want to work on some of the little things. That's the underneath passes, maybe a screen play here and there. Try to find some things that you can build success from and roll it into next week's game.
And Case Stevenson went to Buffalo in the NFL. Did a heck of a job building that Buffalo Bills football team. Kelly Smith, Reed, Talley, Frank Reich, all were his responsibility when they came into the league, but he has got some problems in his second year here in Sacramento. Kerwin Bell again goes up the middle, hits his big receiver, and he is hauled down there by Dan Murphy. Willie Boyer with the reception. Willie out of Michigan State.
Bell's pass complete to Willie Boyer.
Well, right now you got Edmonton playing in a prevent defense, and so you can throw the underneath routes, and that's what Kerwin Bell needs to consistently work on. Not worry about going over the top. Take what they're giving him, just move the ball down the field.
30 seconds remaining in the contest. Kerwin Bell now will look end zone, and good coverage there. Coverage by Robert Holland. Tony Jones, the intended receiver.
One of the things we've looked at in Kerwin Bell, you can see the rust of a quarterback who hasn't played a lot in the past couple of years because he has been locking on his primary receivers. If he had looked backside, he had Trey Everett running down the left sideline wide open. The coverage had left him because they've been able to follow Kerwin Bell because they know wherever he looks, that's where he's going to throw the football.
We are going to try to visit with Robert Holland. A homecoming of sorts for Robert today, coming back to Sacramento where he played his collegiate football. He's played a heck of a football game. Try to talk to him and Willie Pless on Mike Mayock down on the sideline, so don't turn away yet. Kerwin Bell under pressure, dumps it off incomplete. It'll be a 3rd and 10 situation. Ed Berry on the coverage. Tony Jones, the intended receiver.
Now this is a situation with 20 seconds to go. You got a 3rd down and 10 at the 25. Make the call, coach.
Go for it. Why not?
Okay. I trust you. Kerwin Bell.
Go for it all. Go for the end zone.
Would you go for the end zone or would you go for the 1st down?
Go for the end zone.
Go for the end zone. Go for broke.
Think about the fact that there's 20 seconds left. You might be in this situation later in the football season, and you want to get that quick hit. You're going to do the onside kick. You're going to get the football back. You're going to have another play from scrimmage. You're going to win the football game in dramatic fashion. Bell goes for the end zone. Come on, make me a hero. Big hit. Dan Murphy applied on the intended receiver, Tony Jones.
Did you see Tony Jones' foot placement when he was sitting down?
In the end zone.
No, it was on the goal line. So he didn't go for the end zone. Just want to check you on that.
All right.
All right, we'll get a shot of it right here from our replay truck. Watch right here is Tony Jones short arms as he sees Dan Murphy coming over. He knows he's going to take a hit. He didn't bother to go for the end zone, didn't really bother to go for the football, and the ball will turn over once again on downs to Edmonton. Another turnover for Sacramento.
I'll tell you, the real key is that if we are in the NFL with the new helmets, with the headphone, I could have told Kerwin Bell, you know, if you would have gone for the end zone, the play might have been more successful.
If all the ifs and buts were put in the nuts, what a merry old Christmas it would be, huh?
Yes, it would, my friend. Even out here on the West Coast where it never snows. Clock stops just momentarily with 13 seconds as they spot the football. Then they'll roll it again. And then we'll have the last play of the football game. Edmonton will up their record to 5-2. They'll go to 2-2 on the road. Sacramento will fall to 3-4. They have now lost their last 3 football games. To Calgary, BC, and now tonight to the defending Grey Cup champion Edmonton Eskimos. Impressive performance by the Edmonton defense, holding Sacramento to just 15 points. Ron Lancaster's offense wasn't very bad either. They took advantage of the situations when they had them.
Well, he has to feel very good tonight that his team may have come out of the doldrums that they've been in by scoring 44 points. The offense was able to capitalize on turnovers that the defense afforded them. They got the big punt return from Williams to help also.
Our final score on the Deuce, 44-15. Our post-game activities are still forthcoming. Our final score, the Edmonton Eskimos defeat the Sacramento Gold Miners 44-15. Mike Goldberg, James Curry up here in the booth. And JC, I'll tell you what, Edmonton needed those 20 points early to establish their dominance in this football game.
They did. They capitalized on the turnovers that the defense was able to give them tonight, and they got the big punt return from Henry Williams, and they capitalized on that. And they had a big lead at halftime, 34-1, and Sacramento just couldn't come back from it tonight.
And the Eskimos defense again impressive most of the evening. 2 of the heroes are down on the field with our Mike Mayock. Mike?
Thank you, Michael. I've got Willie Plus here, and I've got hometown hero Robert Holland. Willie, let's start with you first. 3 fumble recoveries, huge game. How do you feel, big guy?
Well, anytime you win, you feel great. We give a lot of credit to the offense for keeping us off the field, but at the same time, the defense did a good job. The guys up front getting their hands on the ball, getting it out of the running back's hand, and of course, it's good to be in the right place at the right time.
Let's take a look at one of these fumble recoveries, Willie, and talk us through it.
As you can see here, I had a high position, so I'm going upfield to contain. Leroy Blue gets his hand in, scrape the ball out. Of course, the ball just comes straight to me. It just seems like I have a magnet in my hand or in my butt, one or the other.
In your what? Where's that magnet?
Magnet in my hand or butt, somewhere in my body, but it seemed to attract the ball.
All right, let's look at the second half fumble.
So it was a draw play. It was a good call. Again, I was on the other side of the field. So I don't know how this ball all of a sudden falls in my hand while someone's coming at me.
Well, it was obviously the magnet in your butt.
That's what it is.
Fair enough. Let's check in now with Robert Holland. Robert, what do you think your boy over here talking about his anatomy?
I don't know anything about that. I can't comment on Willie's anatomy.
Let's take a look here. We're going to see a good hit by you, Robert.
I'm just hanging around. They've been going away from me all day for the last few games, so I'm just looking for an opportunity to make a big play. The guy broke to the open, and shakes a tackle here. I just came up. This is not the big tackle, but I was just trying for a strip there. Right. And then came across from the other side to track him down. That's Troy Mills, one of my old ex-schoolmates, and he's pretty good. So
must feel great to win a big game in the hometown.
Oh yeah. It's always a big game when I come home. You know, I got my fans out here, about 60 or 70, sitting in stands, Hollywood hats, and just all, you know, revved up for me. So I was just revved up, ready to go. But the Gold Miners are a good team, good organization.
Robert, thanks for joining us, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Right,
really appreciate it.
Right.
Hey, Michael, back up to you.
All right, and a great job done tonight by Mike Mayock down on the field all evening long here in Sacramento. Tell you what, James Curry, all in all, Edmonton did reassert their dominance in the West tonight.
They did. When you're a champ, it's very hard to repeat, and I think Edmonton might have got back on the right track tonight to get back into that repeat form.
Yeah, Ron Lancaster hopes so. Coming up next here on The Deuce, it is the secrets of speed. And don't forget, there is CFL action all season long right here on ESPN2. Our next game, Doug Flutie and the Calgary Stampeders from Sky Dome in Toronto. They take on the Argonauts. It comes your way Friday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific here on ESPN2. Gizmo returned one tonight for the touchdown. Gizmo and the Edmonton Eskimos, the defending Grey Cup champions, get the victory in Sacramento. It was a great evening enjoyed by the fans in Edmonton, and Gizmo can now take a big sigh of relief. And also the big touchdown tonight by that man, Mike Lee, the big reception early from Damon Allen. They're flipping in Eskimo land with the victory, 44-15 our final. So long, everybody.